believe such a beautiful November night here in Ames, Iowa. We're at Jack Trice Stadium for a Big 12 matchup. Oklahoma, 14th ranked team in those initial college football playoff rankings, on the road to take on the Cyclones of Iowa State. The Sooners, who had a rough non-conference. It was a difficult schedule, but were 1-2 before conference play, are undefeated in the Big 12. They control their own destiny to be Big 12 conference champions. Well, the Sooners making their way from their locker room down the hallway. Oklahoma undefeated in Big 12 play, largely because of number 6, Baker Mayfield, their quarterback. Number 11, D.D. Westbrook, their wide receiver, has just been tremendous. But their running game has complemented the pass game beautifully. And tonight, that run game may be compromised. Samaje Perine, a star tailback, he's still out with a leg injury. Joe Mixon, who has also just been tremendous this year. Mixon is suspended. He is not here. He will not play. They only have one scholarship running back available. That's the freshman Abdul Adams. For more on the running back situation for the Sooners, let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley's message to Abdul Adams was simple. He said, you've got to stay relaxed. Adams is really excited about playing in this game, but he said, just think of it as one other game. It's normal. Now, watching Adams in warm-ups, he looked calm, collected, and he was really working on that chemistry with Baker Mayfield, also catching the ball out of the backfield pretty well. So another thing, Dave, that Lincoln Riley said, he wanted to make sure Baker Mayfield didn't try to do too much. He told him before the game, just play your game, stay in the pocket, don't try to make up for rushing yards we may be lacking.
All right, Lauren, thanks. Good info. And Adams, very talented, highly recruited player, have a chance to play his most significant minutes and snaps of his young Oklahoma career as their Sooners make their way out onto the field. Dave Fleming, Jesse Palmer, happy to have you with us here in Ames. All right, on the Iowa State side, the Cyclones, they're 1-7. They have not won a Big 12 conference game, so that looks bleak. They have made improvements, close calls against Baylor, against Oklahoma State, against Kansas State. This is a team that's getting better, but Jesse, they have their hands full, even with the running back situation as it is. A lot of talent for Oklahoma.
Yeah, Dave, Oklahoma's an improved football team. They started 1-2, lost to Houston and Ohio State, but the last 5 games, their offense has been explosive. Since they've gotten into Big 12 conference play, their offense is putting up 51 points a game. Biggest reason why? Quarterback Baker Mayfield, to me, the hottest quarterback right now in college football, one of the best deep ball throwers. And their scheme on offense, they like to use this rollout scheme to try and influence the safety and isolate wide receiver D.D. Westbrook on the backside. D.D. Westbrook, to me, has been the best player in college football throughout the month of October. And Baker Mayfield does not miss these shot throws 55 to 60 yards downfield. Here's another example, running an inside post to try and occupy the safety. There's Westbrook with that explosive speed outside the roll away. Baker Mayfield able to step up. He's not overthrowing guys. He's dropping dimes to D.D. Westbrook down the field. And to me right now in college football, the most lethal quarterback to receiver tandem is Mayfield to Westbrook. When you consider the running back situation tonight for the Sooners, certainly those two guys are going to have to pick up the slack.
So they do have a lot of weapons, even thin at the running back spot, and those two putting up numbers. Maybe it was the non-conference struggles for the Sooners, but numbers that would make you think both Mayfield on the passing end, Westbrook on the receiving end, they should be a part of the Heisman conversation. Those two have just been spectacular for Oklahoma. Kickoff from Ames is coming up. Speaking of the Heisman, time to take a look inside Nissan's Heisman House.
Premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
That wasn't bad. Jesse knows all about that Gator Seminole stuff.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good job of acting there by Tim Tebow.
Yeah, he pulled it off. Baker Mayfield and the Sooners getting ready to go here on the road on a Thursday night in Ames, Iowa, where over the years we've had some surprising results. The Cyclones hoping for another one tonight. They are big underdogs. They have not won a Big 12 conference game. The Sooners are undefeated in Big 12 play. This has been the Nissan pregame rush. The Cyclones of Iowa State, they won the toss. They deferred, so they're going to kick off. Chris Francis is kicking off with D.D. Westbrook, who Jesse talked about as a receiver, also extremely explosive as a return man. And Westbrook gets his hands on the ball right away and will return it. Did he step out of bounds? Apparently not. Across the 30 and out across the 35. A good field position to start for this explosive Sooners offense.
Yeah, and the quarterback in Baker Mayfield, who to me is on fire right now. In his last 3 games, he's thrown 15 touchdowns versus only 1 interception. When you watch the film on him, the accuracy is off the charts. In Big 12 play, he's completing 76% of his throws, but it's the deep ball to me that's the most impressive part. And he's also mobile. You're going to see him tonight running some zone reads. You're going to see him scramble as well to keep plays alive, no doubt about it. This Cyclones defense, they got their hands full with the guy that finished 4th in the Heisman voting a year ago.
And arguably the numbers are even better here in 2016 for Baker Mayfield. And Oklahoma with the ball first here, trying to keep their Big 12 conference record perfect. And Dimitri Flowers, not Abdul Adams, is the starting tailback, a quick hitter out on the left side for a completion and a gain of about 5 yards. Well, Oklahoma, we've talked all about their offense. We know how explosive that is. 568 yards per game, 3rd best in college football. The defense, though, has been another story.
They've had so many injuries on that side of the football. They're having to play a lot of backups. They haven't had always great effort, consistent effort. They've missed a lot of tackles and given up a lot of explosive plays. That's got to stop tonight.
So Flowers still the fullback, acting as a tailback tonight in the backfield. He's going to get a carry and a first down for Oklahoma nearly to midfield. That will officially go as his first career carry.
Yeah, Dimitri Flowers has kind of been playing that hybrid tight end fullback role. He's a big guy, 6'2", 240 pounds, and he can rumble. You just saw it there. A nice job with the vision and getting downhill. You're not going to see a lot of wiggle and a lot of shake, but he's been forced now with the running back situation to step up tonight. Be physical.
And he looked like he was hurting coming off the field. So think about all the problems with depth at the tailback position. The true freshman Abdul Adams is in now, and he'll get the carry. Right side running. Much better run defense from the Cyclones. So you got Adams as the only scholarship running back available tonight. If you take out the fullback, Dimitri Flowers. No Joe Mixon suspended. No Smod JP Ryan still hurt.
Yeah, and I like Adams. He's a young true freshman, but very talented. And Oklahoma beat out Alabama, Michigan, and Notre Dame for this young back. Not as big as Mixon or P. Ryan, but he can be physical and run inside the tackles.
A pistol formation on 2nd and 9. The play fake, all kinds of time, taking that deep shot to Westbrook, and it's knocked away incomplete. Maybe a little bit underthrown, and it allowed the defense to get there and knock it away. That's Brian Peavy.
Yeah, you saw the speed that time by Westbrook on the post throw, ran right by Peavy, and you're right. Baker Mayfield just slightly underthrowing that, which allowed Peavy to climb back in the picture. Look at the release here and getting back on the inside. At this point now, if you're Oklahoma, you're thinking that's a touchdown. Underthrows it a bit. Peavy keeping it clean. Good job with no PI now, setting up 3rd and long.
Oklahoma, they've been good at every aspect of offense, including 3rd down offense. Converted 50% of their tries on the year. Play clock is winding down. Under 5, down to 2. They get the play snapped. Mayfield pressured, and that across the middle is complete for a first down. Nice catch in traffic. That's Jeffrey Mead. Yeah,
that time Iowa State playing a 2-man coverage, which means that any receiver that wins an inside route will probably get the ball. Nice job.
Iowa State, there's a penalty flag down. They were not organized defensively, and Adams out into the open inside the 10 for a big gain, and I think it's going to stand. There are actually 2 and now 3 flags on the play.
There was a late substitution from Iowa State jogging on the field. Oklahoma did a really nice job after getting the first down to hustle up to the line of scrimmage and get that running play called.
So we'll see if that's all that the flags were for, or if there are multiple penalties.
Illegal substitution. Defense. Penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
All right, it was just that one, and they'll take the long gain of 32 yards for the freshman Adams.
And that's got to be huge for his confidence as well. Early in this game now to get an explosive play like that. And Matt Campbell, head coach of Iowa State in his first year, only 36 years old. Already his defense up against the wall.
First and goal, Oklahoma. And it's Flowers, who apparently is okay, back in the game, acting as the tailback. Mayfield toward the corner. It is incomplete.
You know, I think that the running back situation for Oklahoma hurts them, especially down here in the red zone, because this is an area of the field that offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley likes to throw the ball. to his running backs. We've seen Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon catch a lot of touchdowns here inside the 20, inside the 10. And I don't know if they necessarily have that versatility on offense with the players they have in this game.
Flowers leaves the backfield, joins Westbrook on the right side of the formation. And Mark Andrews lined up sort of as a tight end. He's often used as a red zone target. Mayfield looking middle, now flushed. Mayfield will throw. It is caught, and it's a touchdown. And it is Mark Andrews. Now the hat came off for that official. The signal is touchdown. Oklahoma on the board first.
Mark Andrews stayed in bounds, and he was kind of tussling in the back of the end zone with linebacker Willie Harvey. Watches Mayfield here. He's trying to go to Andrews in the beginning and then just is able to buy himself some time. Andrews stays in bounds, and Harvey was standing right beside him. He never turned around to locate the football and swatted away. That just looked like it was too easy for Mayfield and his big tight end.
It was pretty good coverage, and yet Harvey couldn't make a play on the ball. So an 8-play touchdown drive. Great start for Oklahoma. Extra point is good. And the Sooners have the first 7 points of this game. Mark Andrews, that's his 6th touchdown of the season. And that's what we were talking about. It's not all Mayfield and Westbrook. Other weapons for Oklahoma. They've got the 7-point lead. Dave Fleming, Jesse Palmer, Laura Rutledge here in Ames, Iowa. The Iowa State Cyclones, it has been another tough year. 1-7, 0-5 in Big 12 play. The upside, they've led at halftime 3 times in games they've lost. They've had very competitive, close losses against good teams. Baylor, Oklahoma State, Kansas State last week. Hoping to hang with the Sooners. They are down 7-0, and they'll get the ball for the first time after the touchback on the kickoff.
And it's a 2-quarterback system for this offense of the Cyclones. They use 2 different guys, and the offense looks a little bit different depending on which guy's in. Joel Lanning on the left, he's more of the runner. You'll see more design quarterback runs with him in the game. Jacob Park, he's more of the pocket passer. And this coaching staff kind of likes to play both guys early. They see which game plan's working the best, and they generally stick with that guy as the game goes on. Now, Joel Lanning has started every game so far this year, but Jacob Park coming off that career-high 301 passing yards last week against Kansas State, and it looks like Jacob Park's the guy out there taking the first snap for the first time this season.
Yeah, this is officially his first career Iowa State start. Park will send a tight end in motion on first down. The tailback is not Mike Warren, it's David Montgomery, the true freshman, starting, and Montgomery gets the carry on first down and has a nice gain of 5 yards to the 30.
Really important that Iowa State is able to establish some form of running game. Their offensive line is a better run blocking line than they are a pass blocking line. They do not want to get into a big hole tonight against this Sooner front.
Matt Campbell, his offense has always used some elements of up-tempo. A play fake. Park's going to throw it for the first time. Open tight end for a first down, Iowa State. Matt Campbell, he is the youngest head coach in the FBS. He's 36 years old. He's been a head coach for 5 years. And Matt Campbell believes that he can get this program turned around. We'll find Matt over on the sideline. And he thinks it can happen a little faster maybe than the expectation level, trying to get to the perimeter where they feel like they might have some success. That's the true freshman, Kene Nwangu.
And with Mike Warren not starting tonight at running back, Kene Nwangu, their fastest player. He's not going to get more touches at running back as well. And this young true freshman was a high school state high jump champion, and he's a guy that I think provides an explosive play and those opportunities to the Cyclones offense tonight.
And Mike Warren, the sophomore tailback, he was the Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year last year, had a monster All-American freshman type season. Not starting the game tonight. Into coverage here, and that one is incomplete, intended for the standout wideout, Alan Lazard.
Got to do it. Alan Lazard is a difference maker in this offense. At 6'5", 225 pounds, he's a problem and too physical for a lot of corners to handle. Preseason Big 12 first team pick, and that's a great matchup we're going to watch tonight. Alan Lazard versus the best cover corner from the Sooners at number 7, Jordan Thomas. But to me, if they're not throwing him the ball at least 12 to 15 times tonight, Iowa State's not trying to win. He's their best chance.
And I'm with you. Even sometimes throwing it into coverage. Let Lazard have a chance to make a play. Oklahoma shows some pressure. They bring pressure. Park steps up, and he's got all kinds of time. Park will avoid the sack and just has nowhere to go with the ball. Out of bounds, well short of the first down yardage.
It was a nice job against the blitz of Iowa State trying to pick it up and give Park an opportunity, but you look downfield and really just nowhere to go with the football for Park. A nice job in the back end coverage, nobody open. Park forced to buy some time. He's a big athletic guy for 6'4", but a nice job on the first possession by the Sooners defense. And now you got to punt to one of the most dynamic players in college football.
Returned one for a touchdown last week against Kansas. And they feel like some big plays and special teams could be available again tonight. Colin Downing, we'll see if he tries to keep the ball away from Westbrook. Well, that's one way to do it. Kind of off the side of his foot. Westbrook will let it go. And in the end, that's a good result for Iowa State. Out of bounds as Oklahoma will get the ball for the second time. Non-conference schedule very difficult, Jesse, for the Sooners. They started 1-2, but against a team in Houston that was playing so well at the beginning of the year, and Ohio State, which played their best game of the year in Norman, but 5-0 in Big 12 conference play with a tough schedule still to come.
And that's really the key. The offense has come alive now. The big question mark for Oklahoma and whether or not they can defend their Big 12 championship is their defense. We talked a little bit about the injuries they've had to suffer, and we'll talk more about that as the game goes on, but 3 huge tests coming up against those types of offenses. Baylor, West Virginia, Oklahoma State. Can the Sooner defense hang on and make plays? I think that goes a long way in determining they win the Big 12.
Well, both Flowers and Adams are in the backfield here on first down. Mayfield under some pressure and delivers that ball, the big hit, and the pass is juggled, but apparently caught. Iowa State coming in and saying no catch. Geno Lewis held on. Mike Johnson put the big hit on.
Yeah, I don't know if the Penn State transfer Geno Lewis ever let this football touch the ground. It was a small window. It's a clean hit. Wow.
Even in the end, when the ball popped up, he snatched it out of the air. I do think they're going to take a look at it.
Ruling on the field was a completed pass. Previous play is now under further review.
Rob Vucetich is our replay official tonight here in the Big 12. Mike Johnson, the redshirt freshman from Clearwater, Florida, with the hit.
In complete and continuous control all the way through the process. See, there it looks to me like the football kind of ricocheted off the forearm and then kind of juggled and back into his hands.
Yeah, I'm just not sure it ever hit the ground. It was clearly rattling around.
It definitely came loose at that point there. The question is, they're going back, and again, the call on the field is a catch, so you need indisputable video evidence to overturn this call. You're going to need some sort of conclusive evidence of whether or not this ball hits the grass when he's down.
To me, right here, initially, that's where there's a question. When he first goes to the ground, now there, he keeps it off the turf. That shot where you can see right at the moment he comes to the ground, that's not the right angle for it.
See, at that point there, it looks like his forearm was under. He actually scooped the ball with his right hand back up in the air.
Yeah, now this one, initially, right when he goes to the ground, does the ball hit the turf?
I just don't know if you have enough evidence watching those angles to overturn that. Now, of course, you got to mark the football, I think, where his knee's touching the ground once he kind of reassumes control of the ball. At this point, right around there.
Yeah, to me, that was the only spot where you could say, okay, it was not a catch. That is the moment where maybe there's some gray area. Now, it's not that the ball cannot touch the ground. It can touch the ground and still be a catch.
But then it comes loose at the end of it, though, and you have to possess the ball throughout the entire process. And from those last angles and that zoom-in look, Dave, to be honest, I'm not so sure he did possess it and have that firm control once it hit the ground. Ball's allowed to touch the ground if you have firm possession and complete control of the football. The ground doesn't help, but looking at those zoomed-in angles, I'm not so sure now.
So let's get the ruling down on the field.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Completed catch.
So, I think that one was a difficult one. There was some gray area there, but in the end, a spectacular catch by Geno Lewis.
He's a guy that's really kind of coming on in this offense, too. Had a season-high 4 catches last week against Kansas. And the Penn State transfer, he's been big in this. He's a physical guy that can make those tough catches in small windows and in traffic. He kind of helps balance out this passing attack now with Dede Westbrook on the outside, and all of a sudden Lewis in the slot.
So first down, Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield hands the ball off, and Adams goes backwards. How about we go downstairs and welcome back in Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, Baker Mayfield made a point to go over to Abdul Adams and also Dimitri Flowers, telling him that's how we do it, and saying, I knew you guys could get it done. Also saying, tempo, tempo, tempo. Let's go as fast as we can. He was really intense in talking to these running backs on the sideline.
Second and 13 for Oklahoma. It's just Adams in there. Mayfield gets crunched, trying to stay on his feet and actually doing a pretty good job of it. Now they'll blow the play dead, and that will officially be a sack. He lost a yard.
It's hard to run a quarterback draw into a blitz, especially when everyone on defense stays in their gaps. And that's exactly what Willie Harvey did. Number 7, he's going to loop back around this way and take away that hole for Baker Mayfield to run into. This is a defense that wants to play bend, don't break. They don't want to blitz a lot. They want to play big zones, keep the football in front of them. And on third downs, this is where they like to get exotic and give you some weird looks, see if they can free up a rusher.
Third and long with that play clock winding down again. Mayfield makes an adjustment to the call. Mayfield over the middle. It is a catch on a first down by the fullback, Flowers.
Well, it's Dimitri Flowers, who we saw tonight playing tailback, getting a couple carries. I actually thought on this play, Flowers flinched a little bit early. I thought this was a false start. It didn't get called. Watch him right here on the outside. It's a little bit of a flinch, I thought, right before the snap. Nonetheless, using the wheels down the field on a post. And a nice catch again in a small window contested throw.
The coverage has been good.
It has.
All game long for Iowa State, but those throws have been perfect from Mayfield. Adams with a flag throw. That's going to be a hold against the Sooners. Short gain of a yard or two. But I imagine Iowa State wants him to go backwards.
Yeah, I think you can take your pick here between the center, Eric Wren, or the right tackle, Bobby Evans.
Holding. Offense. Number 58. 10-yard penalty. First down.
There's going to be a little bit more pressure and strain, I think, on the Sooners offensive line tonight. Again, without Perine and Mixon in the game, you're probably going to have to sustain your block just a half second longer to give these inexperienced running backs an opportunity to find their hole. Perine and Mixon are so good with their patience and letting holes develop, but with young, inexperienced players, sometimes they get excited. This offensive line has some pressure on them tonight.
First and 20. Mayfield. Pressured immediately, he'll dump it off. It's a screenplay. Adams picking his way forward to the 40, gets most of the penalty yardage back. Gain of 7.
And that's a big part of what this offense does. And, you kind of wonder how much of the passing game could these running backs handle. It's so much. They don't get a lot of reps in practice throughout the first half of the season. Now all of a sudden the entire playbook is at your disposal. But I think if you're Lincoln Riley, you've liked what you've seen from your true freshman running back so far in this game, Adams.
Sent their nickel back, number 1, DeAndre Payne, in pressure that last play. He's been playing well as he gets healthier. Not coming in pressure here. Pressure from the other side. Mayfield had the ball knocked away. It's in the air and grabbed out of the air by Iowa State. Cyclones ball.
What a play by the Cyclones defense. They brought the corner blitz, Jamal Wiltz. And before the snap, Baker Mayfield looked back to Abdul Adams and said, hey, the corner blitz is coming. Make sure you get over there and give me time, get me a block. And Abdul Adams, the true freshman, he whiffed on the block. Great effort. Watch, he's coming from this side. Watch him turn around and tell him, hey, it's coming. You see over there, Dimitri Flowers telling him as well. They whiff on the block, and a great effort by Wiltz to get to Mayfield. Ball pops up in the air. What a takeaway by the Cyclone defense in Oklahoma territory. In a game like this, against an explosive offense, you've got to be able to steal possessions. Now, there's a lot of offensive coordinators in the country that like to take shots in these sudden change situations. This offensive coordinator, Tom Manning, got dialed up here for the Cyclones.
And that's Justin Thomas, who had been playing defensive end, has moved inside. He's now an undersized defensive tackle who came up with the ball. And they are going to look at this. They ruled it a forward pass and an interception. They'll be taking a look in the replay booth, and we'll have the decision when we come back.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and Wendy's, always fresh, never frozen beef.
spirit running high. Football team trying to get things turned around, and the defense so far making some plays. They reviewed that last play that was ruled as a pass and an interception, and the call stood. We never saw a replay that showed the ball hitting the ground, so it was not a fumble. It was a forward pass and ruled as an interception. And it turned into a heck of a play from Justin Thomas to come up with it. So great field position for Iowa State in their offense. And it is still Jacob Park in at quarterback. The play fake and a first down completion. There is number 5, Alan Lazard.
You can see that the respect Jordan Thomas, number 7, giving the big wide receiver with those long arms and his ability to jump. His catch radius is phenomenal. He's gone downfield a few times this year and dunked on people. This guy's a problem. They have to force feed number 5 if you're the Cyclones.
Big time high school players. Dad played at Iowa State, grew up in state. That'll be a first down. A quick completion to the true freshman Deshaunte Jones.
And he's been a nice surprise for this offense too. Young true freshman, runs good routes, dangerous after the catch. He's already got 4 catches this year of over 40 yards, and he's been a nice compliment in the slot to Alan Lazard on the outside.
The wide receiver spot, maybe their most talented position group. It is Joel Lanning now in this part of the field in at quarterback.
Situationally, they like to get him in the red zone fringe, and you start to see a lot of design quarterback runs.
Lanning, who had started every game until tonight, will keep it on a design run. And you see that strength. He leans forward and gets positive yardage.
Yeah, he's a big, tough guy and a really good athlete. At 6'2", 225 pounds, was an all-state champ wrestler. I mean, this guy, and you're right, he falls forward, kind of gets you those hidden yards. And the quarterback run game is such a big part of what the Cyclones do offensively, and they need Joel Lanning in this game tonight.
So on 2nd and 6, Park will come back in. We will see that shuffle a lot in this part of the field, and it can happen play to play. The handoff and a nice hole, first down run inside the 10 for the freshman David Montgomery.
A really nice job by the left guard Brian Shetta getting up into the 2nd level and getting an ISO block, and look how fast now Iowa State getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Trying to get in the end zone and tie this game. There's 3 receivers bunched, and I think the left guard moved. Or maybe the left tackle Nick Fett. So sometimes your tempo can be a little too quick.
False start. Offense, number 62. The 5-yard penalty, first down.
So the penalty on Fett, and it does bring Joel Lanning back in the game at quarterback.
And they need these quarterback runs because this offensive line, not the most talented in the country. They need the extra blocker advantage in the running game in key situations, 3rd downs, short yardage goal line, and red zone. They had success at this last week against Kansas State. That's why you're seeing Joel Lanning back in the game again.
3 walk-ons among their 5 offensive line starters. Almost no depth at the start of the year, no experience. First and goal from outside the 10. Lanning gets hit hard and gets to the 10, where it will be 2nd and goal.
Now, the problem with this quarterback rotation, though, for the Cyclones is that it's predictable. Depending on which quarterback is in the game, if you're defensive coordinator Mike Stoops for Oklahoma, you kind of have a good idea of what they're going to run. Now they bring back Park. Now you're expecting conventional drop-back throws or conventional runs. I think it makes it a little bit easier on this Sooner defensive coaching staff.
I'm with you. And at some point, you're going to have to break that tendency. Iowa State will have to bring in a little element of surprise. Lanning comes back in, 2nd and goal. Park rolling right, trying to find Lazard, I think, and he'll throw to the back of the end zone. He overshot Lazard, who did find an opening. So 3rd and goal.
At this distance, I think you expect Park to stay in the game. You're expecting to have to throw the ball to convert this, but again, young sophomore quarterback, big game at home against the defending conference champion, down here early. Obviously you want 7, but you can't be careless with it. If it's not available, throw it away. Points are critical, and you've got an excellent kicker in Cole Net. You want to make his job as easy as possible.
3rd and goal from the 10. They had a lot of problems this part of the field last week against Kansas State. Off balance throw, dangerous throw, almost intercepted.
And that's just what I'm talking about. You know, you want to get, you're so eager to throw touchdowns, and you're playing Oklahoma, and it's your first start playing at home on national TV, and you just feel like you got to make every play. This is one, there's good coverage downfield. You've clutched it once already. You're late on the throw. Very lucky that time that Stephen Parker at safety didn't come away with an interception or worse.
Yeah, he should have had that one, and he might have taken it all the way. So now Cole Netton, who has been perfect from this distance, still perfect. On the board, Iowa State gets the turnover and turns it into their first 3 points of the game. 4:22 to go, first quarter. Sooners lead 7-3.
Washington, Cal, Saturday at 10:30 on ESPN.
Welcome to Mo! Bold Southwestern flavor, handcrafted, and brand spanking.
College football on ESPN on Saturday. Maryland goes to the Big House to take on number 3 Michigan. That's at 3:30 Eastern, and then the late night 10:30 Eastern out in Berkeley, Washington. At the moment, now there's a long way to go, but on the outside looking at number 5 in those initial rankings. Playing at Cal, maybe a dangerous game for the undefeated Huskies.
It's a tricky game, probably their most physical game. They played this last week on the road at Utah. Now you go back on the road, play at Memorial Stadium, where Cal's been really good this year, and maybe also peeking ahead to that USC game next up. The resurgent USC team. Chris Peterson and the Huskies, they've got to be careful.
Cal will put points on the board in that game. Field goal for the Cyclones. They trail 7-3, and into the end zone. Westbrook will take the touchback. The Sooners offense and the Cyclones defense on the field, including Mitchell Myers, starting defensive end, number 58, a remarkable kid. It was about 18 months ago he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, fought cancer with chemo, with radiation, with stem cell therapy, missed all of last year, and they didn't know. They were optimistic he would beat cancer. They did not know that he'd continue his football career. He is back, and the Iowa State players say he is playing at a very high level.
Yeah, he's been a tremendous story, really an inspiring story, not just to his teammates, but fans of all of college football and everyone's family out there that's fighting cancer and having to deal with that. The fact that he's back on the field this early is remarkable in itself, but what an impressive young man, both on and off the field.
And making some plays early in this game. Oklahoma had a touchdown on their first drive, turned it over on their second drive, and it is Flowers, not the freshman Adams, in at tailback with nice balance, stumbling forward. He got 10 yards and a first down. Dimitri Flowers, a guy who had never had an official carry in a game. He's been a weapon in the pass game, but had never had a carry before tonight. He may carry the load for the Sooners tonight. With no P. Ryan, no Mixon, down to 1 scholarship tailback. First and 10 Sooners. Mayfield, that pressure came quickly again. Mayfield, who does have the scrambling ability, just got a couple. Nice pursuit from DeAndre Payne.
Yeah, it was Desmond Tucker, Demont Tucker on the inside, number 97. He's extremely quick. He gets a great jump when you watch him on film. He's just able to time it up. He's all over the center and in that gap, showing outstanding athleticism, and that's what forced Baker Mayfield to flush out of the pocket.
Demont Tucker, he's a guy who put up a lot of numbers last year. Statistically, the numbers are down this year, but I think he's still playing at a pretty high level. Mayfield on second down has Westbrook wide open. Westbrook, who turns it upfield with that quickness into Iowa State territory down to the 40.
Yeah, and I'm impressed because Iowa State right now is playing a lot of one-on-one coverage against D.D. Westbrook with no safety help. This time working against their nickel, DeAndre Payne, and that's aggressive for Iowa State. There are a lot of defenses that are petrified of number 11, and Iowa State's been content to roll the dice. That's dangerous. Baker Mayfield's looking for those one-on-one shots.
Those numbers, that's not his season. Those are the last 5 games. That's a month of football. 11 touchdowns, nearly picked off. Payne read that play and just could not quite get to the football. The pass was completed to Basquin.
It looked like Payne just started to stumble a little bit. Mark Andrews here going to get a block on him too. That so easily could have been a pick 6 the other way.
Wow.
But I think Baker Mayfield, he's like a shortstop. You know, he catches these shotgun snaps and he just turns and fires. It's like turning 2. He gets the ball out of his hand so quickly.
Watched a little too much baseball the last couple nights. Well, not too much, but
no, not last night. You kidding me? Unbelievable.
second down, the handoff. Adams gets close, and I think he got the first down for Oklahoma.
Yeah, there's a massive hole on that side, and Iowa State not doing great right now, filling these lanes, huge gaps. This young true freshman Abdul Adams and Dimitri Flowers to run through early. This offensive line's done a nice job.
Sooners on the move with the 4-point lead nearing the end of the first quarter. Mayfield steps up. Now a little pass fake, keeps the play alive, wants somebody to come back to him, and he'll just go out of bounds. Man, he bought a lot of time. That was good coverage from the Cyclones.
Yeah, it was on the back end, but you see kind of the dynamic that Baker Mayfield brings you here. It's not often in these quote-unquote air raid offenses you got quarterbacks that are this mobile. There's some double coverage at the top of the screen. You look everywhere else, nobody open right now, and Baker Mayfield looking for the scramble drill. No one's working for him. This is going to be a challenge. Every defense, every time they play Oklahoma, containing the quarterback, keeping a guy that's 6'1" in the pocket. It's harder to see downfield from there. Easier said than done against this guy, number 6.
I was a little surprised. Iowa State defensive coaches, they have confidence in their cover guys. The numbers aren't real pretty for the season. Mayfield throws another fairly dangerous pass and a broken tackle inside the 10. A spin move, beautiful end zone touchdown for Jeffrey Mead. What a play by the junior.
And a fantastic job anticipating the throw by Baker Mayfield. He gets this ball out way before his receiver Mead had turned around. When you're throwing these out-breaking routes, you get it to him as early as possible. He's got an opportunity to make a guy miss and turn upfield. He's still inbound with a lot of room to work. Just a junior quarterback in Baker Mayfield that's been in this type of system for a long time, whether it was Texas Tech or here in Oklahoma. Good read, nice job getting the ball out early.
3 missed tackles, and give Mead some credit for that. Extra point is good. 7-play drive and another touchdown for the Sooners, who lead 14-3. 1:22 to go in the first quarter. Coverage has often been good. It was pretty good on that play, but Oklahoma making plays in the pass game, and they've got the 14-3 lead. This college football season, stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. You can download the app or visit watchespn.com today. Saturdays where we got all kinds of games going on at the same time. If you're out and about, if you're out enjoying a Thursday night, you got us on the app right now. Cyclones trailing 14-3 the kickoff from Oklahoma. And it is returnable for Nwangu. Freshman who's got a lot of breakaway speed outside to about the 24-yard line. So Baker Mayfield and his receiver. What a play from Jeffrey Mead, who coming into tonight had 2 catches all year. A big first half. And they told us he could be a part of the game plan. I guess they weren't kidding.
You can't just throw everything to D.D. Westbrook. I mean, you got to share the wealth. I'll tell you, look at the young talent that Oklahoma has at wide receiver. They've got a lot of young talent everywhere on offense, but at wide receiver for years to come, I think they're going to be pretty special.
Questions for the Sooners are when the defense is on the field. Hand off, Montgomery. Well played that time up front by Austin Roberts. The Sooners defense just has not been good this year. No way to put it other than to say they have struggled.
They've only got 5 starters from their first game on the field right now. They've been hurt at defensive line. They've been hurt at cornerback. They've had a lot of backups playing, and it showed. Guys are trying hard, but they're not always having the consistent effort that defensive coordinator Mike Stoops wants. Had a really good game last week against Kansas. They need to build on that and build their confidence.
Numbers a little skewed from the Texas Tech game. That throw and a nice delivery to Lazard for a first down. And you can imagine, you mentioned Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma. You can imagine what that game did to him, the Texas Tech game, how torturous that must have been.
Yeah, he's one of the best defensive minds, I think, in the country. He's coached a lot of really good defense in Norman. He's not used to this.
On play that time from his run defense, gain of a yard for Montgomery. And Bob Stoops, of course, he's a defensive coach. So for all the success that Oklahoma has had, and they're winning games and they're putting up huge points on offense, it bugs those two guys big time that the defense hasn't been better. See if they get a play snapped before the quarter comes to an end. I don't think they want to. I think they'll just let those final seconds tick off and take it to quarter number 2. Well, look, Iowa State's defense, they have been in position to make some plays.
Yeah, they've been aggressive. A lot of man coverage. They've been blitzing, forcing Baker Mayfield in this offense to earn it. But Baker Mayfield's been pretty sharp himself. So Oklahoma right now on top comfortably. 14-3 heading into the second.
Starting quarter number 2 in Ames, Iowa. Oklahoma on the road with a 14-3 lead. Dave Fleming, Jesse Palmer, Laura Rutledge with you here on this Thursday night. Be a huge upset if somehow the Cyclones made some things happen in the first quarter. But the offensive talent for Oklahoma, even short at running back, is just so impressive. Let's see if the Cyclones can move the ball on offense. It's 2nd and 9. 4-man rush, and Park throws. He's got his tight end who drops it wide open. And he dropped the ball. Sam Harms.
Yeah, and I think in a game like this, when you're from a talent standpoint, you are outmatched. For Iowa State, obviously, you cannot afford the self-induced mistakes. We talk about penalties all the time, but drop passes like that now setting up 3rd and long.
Might have been a first down, might have been 3rd and short if a defender made an open field tackle, but it was going to be a nice positive game. Extra pressure. Park throws across the middle, hanging on and breaking one tackle. Lazard gets away from a second and gets the first down. There's that natural ability you're talking about. He's the guy that can match up with the Sooners athletically.
And he's just so long. Long arms, long legs, hard to tackle. Here running the shallow cross. He's an easy guy to see at 6'5". A nice job by Park getting him the ball early and getting able to turn upfield.
This time better tackling from the Sooners. Lazard gets another touch, but no gain.
But he's a guy that Iowa State can move around. You're going to see him on outside the right. You're going to see him outside to the left. They can put him in the slot. They can get him away from Oklahoma's best cover corner, Jordan Thomas, by formationally using him. And right now, they've already targeted him 6 different times. Big part of the game plan. They need to do that.
How about this formation? You got everybody on the right side. Now 3 of them are going to go to the opposite side. Right around midfield. And Montgomery will motion into the backfield. Still 5 on the play clock. And play fake. Park throws on the move. He's got a man open. And close, but stopped a little bit short. D'Andre Daly.
Well, hey, we just saw an interesting formation, and you just get the feeling in this game for Iowa State. You're 1-7. You're playing Oklahoma. You're going to see some trick plays on offense at some point. They've shown that ability earlier in the year. Deshaunte Jones, a wide receiver, threw a touchdown pass against Kansas State. There's the offensive coordinator, Tom Manning, and he is not afraid to dial up trickeration.
3rd and 1. Been a long time. This has been a lopsided series, to say the least. Joel Lanning in at quarterback. Does that telegraph what they're going to do on 3rd and 1? That fake jet sweep. Lanning, first down. Didn't matter even if Oklahoma knew it was coming. He gets the first down.
Yeah, nice job up front by this offensive line, and just climbing into the second level, getting hats on hats, and the situational plays. We're going to see Joel Lanning do that. We've seen him tonight in the red zone. There's a good example on 3rd and short to keep these drives alive. Both these quarterbacks, Lanning and Park, they're talented guys. They're good enough to win. This coaching staff right now, the last 2 weeks especially, I think have done a really nice job utilizing them.
We'll talk about that as we go along. You were a quarterback who in college played in a situation where you were sharing playing time. And at times it could go snap to snap or series to series with your head coach. Montgomery maybe got a half a yard.
Well, it takes, you have to have a certain mindset at quarterback. If you're the type of guy that needs to get into a rhythm and play a bunch of snaps and throw a couple completions to kind of get into the flow of the game, this isn't for you. But you got to give these 2 guys a lot of credit because they put the team first. They understand right now what it's going to take to give themselves the best chance to win. That's impressive. Good leadership from both these young quarterbacks.
Part of the field where I would think Iowa State's thinking 4-down territory. It's be the 10th play of their drive. They have been unafraid to go for it on 4th down. That's thinking ahead, but could impact the play calling. Just barely got that play snapped. Montgomery left side got near the 30. And back down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, guys, whenever there's a 2-quarterback system, you kind of worry about their relationships and wonder how it's going. And Jacob Park and Joel Lanning have a great relationship. They talk a lot on the sideline. I've already seen it happen tonight. One of the things they said is that one guy may see something happening out there that the other guy didn't notice. And since they're both out on the field, they really have great stuff that they can refer to and help each other out to try and win.
Yeah, it's a great point, Laura, because every quarterback processes the game differently, and communication obviously is the key with the team as the ultimate goal in mind.
3rd and 4. He's got time. Park throwing with a man open. Caught Lazard, and he stays in bounds. Touchdown. Great delivery and a heck of a catch as well. And you said they had to make sure they got Alan Lazard the ball. They're getting him the ball.
Well, and they're moving him around. We talked about how they could get him away from Jordan Thomas and put him in the slot. Here he is running the corner out. He's matched up with a safety, Stephen Parker, and that's not even close. It's a coverage bust on the back end by Oklahoma, but a good job by this Iowa State coaching staff taking their best players, using 2 quarterbacks or using their best receiver and putting him in different positions to be successful.
Well, it was a good replay where you saw both of those defenders break with the in-breaking receiver, and they left Lazard wide open. Extra point is up and good. And number 5, who he could play on anybody's team. This is a big-time talent here in Ames. He's having a heck of a first down.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy that plays on Sunday. Iowa State needed that drive offensively to build some momentum, get back in, and we've got a good one here in the Big 12 in Ames.
Taco Bell is a proud partner of the College Football Playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. Is that Monte Morris, the star point guard for Iowa State?
You spent a lot of time here in the Big 12.
Kind of hived under that lid. Monte, I'm going to be embarrassed if I got that wrong. Maybe not. Maybe not. But Iowa State basketball, they got a roll in football trying to match that. They love their Cyclones here in Ames. And this place is starting to rock a little bit. After the touchdown makes it a 4-point game. Westbrook has a chance to return this one. One of the most dangerous players in college football. Westbrook out into the open. And I don't know if you can catch him to midfield. They do catch him inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. And D.D. Westbrook, no matter where on the field as a receiver, as a return man.
Well, they were setting this return up to go to the right side, and Westbrook actually saw a crease in the middle, and he decided to take it there himself. At this point, there are no more white jerseys on the left side of the field. He's just relying on his speed. How about DeAndre Payne, number 1 for Iowa State, showing the wheels off, because he just saved the touchdown.
I didn't think anybody could get him.
To me, David, he's been the best player in college football in the month of October. And I know we keep talking about Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson and Jabril Peppers and all these other Heisman candidates, and we should. But the month of October, number 11 had 11 receiving touchdowns, which is tied for the lead in the nation. He did it in 5 games. No one has been able to stop D.D. Westbrook.
Just an incredible performance by him and his quarterback, Baker Mayfield, these last 5 games. Handoff to the freshman running back, Abdul Adams. Kane Seeley with the tackle.
I want to go back and show this touchdown pass by Baker Mayfield. I want you to watch the anticipation here. Watch when he starts the windup. You see the receiver, Jeffrey Mead. He's not even near out of his break yet, but because he did it early, he was able to turn that upfield. If he waited a split second longer, Mead might catch it in bounds, but he's going out. And for quarterbacks, oftentimes, guys want to see the throw open. Baker Mayfield doesn't need to do that. He has trust and confidence in where his receivers are supposed to be in a spot in the field. He's not afraid to pull the trigger.
I like your point, because looking at it live, it looked like a simple play. Maybe not so simple. Anticipated that one fairly well. Out of bounds, just short of the first down.
That's a really good example right there, too. And it's so critical, especially on these out-breaking routes. Baker Mayfield just played enough snaps where he's got such a comfort zone in this offense under offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley. He just plays fast, quick decisions, ball gets out quickly. That sense of urgency gives these playmakers around him to do something positive with the football.
3rd and 1. Flowers, who normally is the fullback, Here's the tailback to Mayfield's left. They're going to give it to him. No, Mayfield keeps it and loses big yardage. Brian Peavy, the defensive back, was there. And so was the big guy in the middle, number 19, Jaquan Bailey.
Yeah, the true freshman, Jaquan Bailey. He was kind of, Mayfield was kind of in no man's land here. He's reading this off the edge, and you know, it was kind of a muffled read. Do you hand it off? It looks like Bailey was in a position to maybe make that tackle. He decided to keep it. But a nice job by the true freshman on defense for Iowa State. Jaquan Bailey making a big stop and now setting up a long kick by Austin Seibert.
This would be his career-long kick. His current career-long 46 yards. Austin Seibert, this one from 49. Now, does that kick count? I mean, nobody moved, and the kick was not even close. That was strange. Wasn't that unusual?
Yeah, nobody from Iowa State's defense rushed. I don't know if they thought there was an offsides or a false start or a flinch. Watch this again. Look at everybody over on Iowa State's defense. They're trying to get lined up. They're not quite there yet. They weren't ready. But a miss. And now with the touchdown by Lazard by Iowa State and this stop this defense has just gotten. The momentum changing here in Ames, Iowa.
And the Iowa State fans starting to believe that this is a team. They challenged Baylor right to the end. They had a 2-score lead in the fourth quarter here at home a few weeks ago against Baylor. They went on the road against a good Oklahoma State team and nearly pulled off a win. Last week had a chance to beat Kansas State. Didn't quite do it. But they have been close against some quality opponents. Tonight trailing by 4, but with the ball back. First down completion of better than 5 yards. It's Carson Epps. Those are the close losses. They're 1-7. That's not good. The progress, though, in some of those scores, they have gotten better.
And they're not going to quit. Just because they're not going to a bowl game doesn't mean they're going to take the foot off the gas. And they understand the opportunity they have here tonight. This could be a defining win for Matt Campbell and his staff here early against Oklahoma, defending Big 12 champion, a team they haven't beat since 1990. What an opportunity for the Cyclones here.
Last time they beat them here in Ames, 1960. Montgomery gang tackled and got back to the line of scrimmage to set up third down.
And you're kind of in that third and short-term area where the quarterback run could become a factor. They're going to leave Jacob Park in the game. They're going to go empty. He's athletic. He can buy himself time. You're looking at Lazard now. They've lined him up here in the slot, playing at tight end.
On the last drive, they were 3 for 3 on third downs, and that one should have been caught by Epps. I don't know for sure that he would have gotten the first down, but that one was in his hands.
I think he would have. And look at Iowa State now. We've seen them do this before. Go for it on fourth down, deep in their own end. It was a discussion the coaching staff was having, but I think with the game as close as it is right now, 14-10, generated a little bit of momentum. That's obviously that's the call. Punt it away. Yeah. Trust in your defense.
Maybe don't punt it right to number 11 if you can avoid that. That should have been caught, though. That's a big mistake.
Well, that's 2 big drops they've already had on offense that would drive killers.
8:11 to go until halftime. Oklahoma special teams does actually move on the snap. Fair catch by Westbrook. He makes it around the 19-yard line. So we will step aside. D.D. Westbrook's going to stay on the field when we come back to Ames. What an October he had. I don't think in these next 5 seconds we can show you all 11 touchdowns. He has been remarkable.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Lexus and Ally. Do it right.
Woo!
It is an impressive tailgate scene in Ames before these football games. It's not been a great few years for this football program, and they don't have a ton of success in their football history, and their fans still show up week in and week out and have fun in the parking lot and then come inside and make some noise, and they're doing that tonight. Their Cyclones trying to hang with the Sooners down 14-10. Baker Mayfield and the offense back on the field. 8:03 to go until halftime. And the handoff against the pressure, and fullback Flowers doing some good work on the ground.
Yeah, he's been getting those tough yards and really those hidden yards because he's so big at 240 pounds. Falls forward, moves the pile.
It's a nice compliment to keep these third downs manageable for Baker Mayfield in this offense.
You might ask, well, how could it be that he never carried the ball before tonight? Well, when you do have Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon ordinarily, not a lot of other carries to go around. Those two are out tonight. Mayfield, that short drop. Now he's going to have to scramble. And very few do this as well as he does. On balance, taking some more hits, and goes down and ends up, I think it'll be a sack. He lost about a half a yard.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wish I'd see more from Baker Mayfield, is just getting down and protecting himself. He's had a history of some concussions in his career because he doesn't slide a lot. 6'1", 210 pounds. He's a tough guy, no doubt about it, but you got to be smart. Out here setting up third down. Big key for this Iowa State defense. Keep Baker Mayfield in the pocket. Haven't done a great job of that tonight.
Officially not a sack. He got back to the line of scrimmage, so just no gain. 3rd and 6. Looking middle. Nowhere to go with the ball. This is 2 plays in a row with all the time in the world. Now he's going to ask for Andrews to come back, and the ball is juggled and incomplete.
Unbelievable protection by Oklahoma's offensive line. I mean, nobody from Iowa State's able to get back. They're going to bring a blitz here on the outside. Gets picked up by the left tackle, Orlando Brown, and Mayfield's back there just reading the newspaper and trying to find somebody open. The receivers tonight have not done a great job on the scramble drill, coming back and working to get open for Baker Mayfield, but give Iowa State credit defensively, because the coverage on the back end has been sensational.
He got through the front page and got back to the sports section and still had nowhere to go with the ball. Punt returner Trevor Ryan, who has been one of the best in the country, has a good return here. Ryan to midfield and into Oklahoma territory. And is there going to be a flag at the end of that play? No. How about Iowa State building some momentum and some positive feelings in this game? Baker Mayfield, we unofficially counted, he had 8 seconds on that last play. This time, scrambling for his life, it's 14-10.
Frustration with his Oklahoma defense is very obvious on the sideline, telling them that they've been lined up in the wrong places, singling out linebacker Jordan Evans, saying he's been on the wrong side, telling them they have to be better. Some other assistant coaches have been telling them positive energy, and guys, there's even been a few arguments between players on the sideline.
Well, let's see if that translates here onto this possession, where Iowa State has moved the ball. Last couple times they've had it, a big drop in their last drive sort of stalled things, and they start right around midfield. First down. A tough run for David Montgomery, a gain of 4.
Yeah, Laura, I mean, and when one of the big problems for Oklahoma D this year, it hasn't just been one thing. I mean, they're not getting a great pass rush. They haven't been great against the run. They've had coverage busts. We saw one tonight for a touchdown. Effort's not only great, always great. They're missing tackles. Just a myriad of problems for Oklahoma on that side of the football.
Part of that is the injury, but you don't expect those injuries to have this big of an impact. 2nd and 7, and that one was stuffed.
Well, the good news for Oklahoma is that they do have a lot of young talent up front in the defensive line. We talked about them losing 3 starters up front, Matt Diamond, Charles Walker, and Matt Romar, but they've got 3 freshmen in their rotation, and these guys are highly recruited. And I think as the season's worn on, they've started playing better. And certainly in this game tonight, they have to continue taking those steps, and they'll certainly need them when they play against Baylor, West Virginia, and Oklahoma State.
Feels like an important 3rd down for Iowa State here. Off the 26-yard punt return with a great field position. Trying to avoid the 3 and out. The pressure comes, and that is a dangerous throw. It is complete. Stopped a couple yards short, but in the spot of the field where you figure Iowa State may well go for it.
Yeah, especially if it's 4th and 2. That's when I think you might expect to see the quarterback, Joel Lanning, come out in a quarterback run situation. They haven't really been stopped yet tonight. When they've done that, running into this injured, beat-up D-line from Oklahoma. I love the decision to go for it. Why not? We talked about how Matt Campbell would take chances at 1-7 against Oklahoma tonight, but I think their better scenario here is with the other quarterback.
They are going for it, but they keep Jacob Park in the game, and now they're going to call timeout. So that's a good use, I think, of a timeout. Their first of the first half. It's a big play. Think about it, get it right. We'll see the 4th down when we come back to Ames. Big play coming up. Second quarter, and Iowa State 1-7 winless in the Big 12. They are hanging with the 14th ranked team of the country. Tom Manning, offensive coordinator, trying to dial up his best fourth down play. It's 4th and 2 Cyclones.
Yeah, and it's 4th and short, and this has kind of been Joel Lanning territory, and it looks like he's the one coming out, and that's the right decision, I think, by this Iowa State coaching staff.
Now, he is capable of throwing the ball, but the run game from the quarterback in these kind of plays has been huge. It is Lanning on 4th and 2. Looking for an adjustment. He's going to bring his receiver in motion, and now a timeout, Oklahoma. So I guess it gives you an idea that this is an important play in this game.
Yeah.
Iowa State took the timeout. Now the Sooners counter.
Yeah, we talked about the predictability of Iowa State's offense. Both quarterbacks are not running necessarily the same scheme. So Bob Stoops says, all right, show me which quarterback you're going to play with, and I'll call my defense accordingly. Something in that picture he didn't like. Iowa State came out and spread out. They had 3 wide receivers out wide, trying to take bodies away from the box defensively for Joel Lanning to run into. It's kind of like mouse game.
It's kind of like Big 12 hoops. We saw Monte Morris in the stands, the star point guard for Iowa State. Late clock situation, trying to get a shot off. You set up the defense. The opposite coach calls a timeout. You go back to the benches.
These are 2 good staffs, and 2 very bright staffs, I think. And good cat and mouse game here from the X's and O's standpoint, I think, between these 2. Kind of the new kid on the block, Matt Campbell, youngest coach in any Power 5 team, against Bob Stoops, who's been in Oklahoma 18 years.
18.
That's incredible.
When you were getting ready to go to Florida and your early days at Florida, Bob Stoops was still there.
He was my defensive coordinator my first 2 years. I told him on the field before the game, I can't believe he's been there 18 years. What he's accomplished is just remarkable.
All right, so out of the 2 timeouts, Lanning still in. He has not attempted a pass yet in this game.
You expect the running back, David Montgomery, to block for him and get that extra advantage.
They'll bring Lazard in motion. He's a big guy, can help out with the blocking. They will get the first down and more. There goes Lanning. Touchdown. ...41 yards. And I think the Iowa State timeout was a little more effective than the Oklahoma one.
They had Patrick Scoggins at guard pulling, but it was David Montgomery, the true freshman running back, that got a key block for Joel Lanning as well to spring him out into the second level. Gamble pays off. And Oklahoma fans, they've seen this far too often this season. Defense getting gashed.
Lanning 41 yards. He needed 2 for the first down. He got all the way to the end zone after the good punt return. Just a 4-play touchdown drive, and for the first time in this one, Iowa State has gone ahead 17-14 with 4:30 to go in the first half.
Going back, look at this again. Scoggins going to come around and pull. There's going to be a lead block out here as well. They get 2 extra bodies at the point of attack. We talk about getting the extra blocker and how that's an advantage in the run game. Oklahoma not able to fill defensively. There's the athleticism and speed. The Cyclones' second leading rusher. Their quarterback in his...
The 2-quarterback system, Jesse, is working. I mean, they have found a way to keep these guys in rhythm and use them in much different ways, but they've both been effective.
Yeah, they've been able to keep Oklahoma's defense off balance. And, their scheme from the last 2 games now, Kansas State and tonight, I think is the one that's worked the best all season. You kind of let Jacob Park go, and situationally, you bring in Joel Lanning when it benefits the offense, and that's kind of been the chemistry. That's been the flow that's worked.
And they're going to kick this one short and try to keep it away from Westbrook, who could also give Oklahoma pretty good field position anyway. Now there is a flag down around the line of scrimmage. So maybe Iowa State was offsides on that short kick. We'll see. It was Michael Jones who actually took the kickoff and returned it.
Offside. Kicking team. 5-yard penalty be ended at the end of the run. First down.
So it will be good starting field position for Oklahoma. Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart. And back in the Big Ten. We had a lot of good matchups these last few weeks in the Big Ten. Nebraska still in the top 10 against number 6 Ohio State. Saturday 8 Eastern on ABC.
Probably a playoff eliminator.
Probably so.
2 one-loss teams right now. Huge game in conference. Ohio State's had some issues up front on the offensive line in recent weeks. Their defense gave up some big plays against Northwestern. They'll have their hands full. That'll be a good one.
And Sooners fans will be watching that game closely. Now Oklahoma, they got to take care of their own business, and they got a long way to go to finish out the year with just the 2 losses. But they need some help, even if they stay with the 2 losses, win the Big 12, to still have a shot. They're going deep, and Westbrook is open, on the money, touchdown. What an answer. How many times have we seen that? Mayfield to Westbrook.
That is every safety's nightmare, being left one-on-one with the most dangerous wide receiver in college football. And this time, Oklahoma puts D.D. Westbrook out in the slot. They normally have him outside wide, but because it was the first play of the drive, they snuck him inside. Beautiful double move, gets Everett Edwards completely turned around. And again, to me, the best deep ball thrower right now in college football. Baker Mayfield puts it on the money, and just like that, Oklahoma retakes the lead.
One play, 65 yards, and another Westbrook touchdown. Tremendous performance from him again tonight. He has just been spectacular. So the Sooners back in front, 21-17. What a combination. 6 to 11. I've had a chance to take a look at our college football rankings, brought to you by Allstate. Oklahoma is on the outside looking in, our top 5 in those initial official rankings. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, obviously monster game. Bama at LSU at night. LSU, a much improved football team, one of the more improved teams I think in the nation. Completely changed the dynamic of that one. Ohio State, Nebraska, obviously big one in the Big Ten. Tell you what, I mean, you know, the first rankings come out, and of course, you know, fans from certainly Washington and nether regions all over the country get angry and get upset. This picture is going to change so many times over. Just remember 2 years ago, Ohio State, what were they, 16? The first college football ranking, we all know what happened there. Last year, Oklahoma, they know. There were 15 last year, the first ranking. They made it in the playoff. There are a lot of one-loss teams out there. West Virginia and the Nebraskas and the Floridas all vary a lot.
It is a point worth making, at least in terms of the rankings. They're in a better spot this year than last. Last year they did, of course, make it into the playoff. Kick return, and maybe a bad idea. So Cyclones get the ball back. First, let's check in the studio with Chris Cotter.
All right, Dave, Jesse, Land Rover halftime report coming your way in a few minutes. We're going to make some picks. That's bad news for Danny Cannell as he continues to fall further and further behind in that competition. Bad news for UCLA as well. We're going to update you on Josh Rosen's shoulder as the Bruins and Buffaloes prepare to do battle tonight. And could Les Miles be making a return to coaching sooner rather than later? We'll talk about all that with Joey Galloway coming up. Land Rover halftime report. See you then.
All right, Chris, thanks. We'll look forward to that. A little shot at Danny Cannell. Les Miles, I mean, LSU makes the change. In some ways surprising, maybe in some ways not. They played real well since doing it. So Park back in at quarterback. The lead for Iowa State, by the way, lasted 9 seconds. And now they're behind again, 21-17. Give it to David Montgomery. He's got a big opening. Montgomery, they love this true freshman.
Yeah, in Oklahoma right now defensively, they're just not doing a good job staying in gaps. Their middle linebacker on that play, Emmanuel Beal, completely overruns this right here. It's going to get the cutback inside. You've got to stay home. You've got to stay patient and be there. And that's been a big problem in the run game this season for defensive coordinator Mike Stoops.
I think Jordan Evans has really struggled in this game on that quarterback run for the touchdown. He had a chance to make a play, couldn't do it. So first down run. This time Montgomery trying to bounce it outside. And even there, looked like he might lose yardage. He gets something positive.
And he's down, getting up very gingerly. That's bad news. Remember, Mike Warren, who's normally their starting tailback, had that ankle injury against Kansas State last week. We haven't seen him in the game yet. We talked about the running back problems that Oklahoma has. All of a sudden now, head coach Matt Campbell, he's got a bunch of running back problems of his own.
Montgomery, who's from Cincinnati. Matt Campbell and his staff at Toledo last year, in the last few years, they recruited him hard, and he was just too good. He wasn't going to go to Toledo. He was going to play at a higher level. See if we could see where he got hurt.
He's kind of being brought down there at the end. Takes a big hit from the safety Stephen Parker.
So while they look at Montgomery on the field, we'll take a quick break and be right back after this. Saturday right here on ESPN, a doubleheader. Maryland on the road. Maryland's an improved team, but a big task at the Big House. Number 3 Michigan hosts at 3:30 Eastern. Then late night in Berkeley, Washington. Number 5 Huskies against the Bears. Also on ESPN and streaming live. Chance to prove that they should have been in the top 4, or at least make another case, another point of evidence. 2nd and 6. Montgomery did get up and walk off the field, so maybe that's good news. Nwangwu, another true freshman, will carry it for a gain of 2.
So if I'm Mike Stoops now, I'm blitzing. I want to find out if Nwangwu, a true freshman, understands pass protection rules and what to do, or whoever they're going to bring in. You got the injuries back there. You got true freshmen playing in the backfield, inexperienced players. Why don't you dial up some pressure from the 2nd level, see if your guys can communicate and get the pass pro handle.
At the moment, they got number 22 Mitchell Harger, who is a senior walk-on, as the tailback on 3rd and 5. Plenty of time on that play clock. Jacob Park looking to the sideline, now ready to go. Here comes the pressure, and that one is incomplete. Intended for Lazard. There was an opening, but it's 4th down.
That was a nice job in pass protection there by the walk-on running back, giving Park an opportunity to get that football off. Just a miss. Talked about them. We know they're going to go to Lazard a lot in this game. Missed opportunity. And now Baker Mayfield, with the tempo they play at, 2 minutes and 34 seconds left, tons of time. They are 1 play away from hitting the bomb. We just saw that on their last possession.
Yeah, based on the pace of their last drive, they might have a chance to have the ball about 6 times. Montgomery's going to go to the locker room. That would be a big loss for Iowa State. Punt with Westbrook signaling fair catch right away at the 24-yard line with 2:26 on the clock in the first half. Baker Mayfield doing what he does.
Yeah, he's been fantastic again tonight, really, with the exception of that 1 interception. But he's bought himself some time. He's been able to get outside here. A touchdown pass to Mark Andrews on the first drive. Good anticipation. Touchdown pass to Meade. This offense was in high-octane mode from the get-go on that last drive. Again, the rollout post. They love this throw, and finally able to get D.D. Westbrook deep down the field. Remember, he underthrew him early. There's really been 2 throws I think Baker Mayfield would like to have back. But again, a guy that right now is the most efficient quarterback in college football and on pace to have the most efficient single season in NCAA history. He's helping his cause tonight so far.
Yeah, part of that, those big plays. Nobody has been better at the big plays than Mayfield. Well, they hand the ball off against some pressure from the edge and get a first down. Abdul Adams, the true freshman. They haven't been just throwing the ball over and over again to D.D. Westbrook. But when he's got the ball, he's taking advantage.
Yeah, I mean, you got other guys out there too. We forget that all the time. But when you're putting up the numbers that number 11 is, it's hard to ignore him. If I were Baker Mayfield, every time I see a one-on-one opportunity outside, that's one certainly I want to take.
1st and 10, Oklahoma. They can definitely afford to take their time here. They'll give it to Adams again. This time stopped after a gain of just a few.
It's going to be Iowa State getting the ball back first in the 2nd half. So it looks like Oklahoma here, they're not going super tempo. They're kind of slowing it down. It looks like they want to have the last possession, try and generate some points before going into the tunnel.
Delayed handoff, and Adams, that was pretty well played considering, across the 40 out to the 41 to set up 3rd down.
Now a big 3rd down for Iowa State's defense, and we've seen them blitz. This is normally the down distance. They like to be aggressive and change up the front, show you something exotic. Whether they blitz or they don't, you've got to be able to keep Mayfield in the pocket. You can't let him scramble around, make something happen, go get this with his legs.
And I will say this, the way they're handling the clock here tells you something about what they feel about their defense, because they do not want their defense to have to come back on the field in this first half. All the way down under a minute. Cyclones are showing some pressure, and still Oklahoma taking a lot of time and maybe going to take a timeout. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. So that speaks volumes to me about how they do not want the defense back. I mean, 50 seconds, you're still on your own side of the field. And so to me, that means Bob Stoops, even if it means having to settle for a field goal, he he wants the offense to finish this first half with the ball. And look, that's the state of the Oklahoma program right now. The Sooners they are a much better offensive team than they are on defense. And frankly, this game has been the perfect example of it, right? We've seen all the good from Mayfield and company, and we've seen some struggles on the defensive side.
They're going to have some discussions, at halftime, how to make the right adjustments to slow down this 2-quarterback attack from Iowa State that's had a lot of success tonight, whether it's been the situational runs by Lanning or the throws by Park to Lazard deep down the field. They've been giving up explosive plays. That's kind of been a consistent theme, really, with the exception of their win against Kansas, that Mike Stoops and this staff, they got to kind of find the plan here in the second half to slow down the bleeding.
So 3rd and 5, 50 seconds on the clock. If the Sooners don't get it here, they are going to have to give the ball back. And they have the quick tempo offense to where even if they do get it, they still have time. It's not like they have to position themselves for a field goal. They are explosive, but we'll see.
Iowa State's been showing a lot of corner blitz. Remember, that was the play that forced the Baker Mayfield interception. They've tried it a couple times on this drive. Doesn't look like it's going to happen here.
The defensive line is set up way back behind the line of scrimmage. That pass is caught for a first down, and then out of bounds, Nick Basquin with the first down right to midfield.
Yeah, left tackle Orlando Brown's been excellent tonight on blitz pickup. Every time that Iowa State's tried to bring an outside rusher to his side without a running back helping him, he's been home. Sophomore, looking pretty good.
He's easy to spot.
He's 6'8", 340.
Yeah, so
hard to miss.
When he plays well, it sort of stands out. He is a big guy. 1st and 10, Mayfield, and that one is dropped. Incomplete. Meade had it, lost it, and now Meade is hurting.
Another anticipation throw there by Baker Mayfield, hitting Meade in the hole behind the corner in front of the safety. We saw Meade get up a little bit gingerly for his last touchdown, but Baker Mayfield right now, he's just dialed in. I mean, he gets this ball out so fast. He's made this throw 1,000 times in practice and on game day. Methodically moving the offense, 41 seconds to go, and slowly but surely, at minimum, getting into field goal range.
He's made a lot of good throws tonight. 2nd down, Mayfield pressured now, just throws it away. Good decision. He took a hit at the end of that play. Gabe Luna with some pressure, no flag.
And Gabe Luna is kind of a pass rush specialist on 3rd downs. He comes in the game and gives them a little extra juice off the edge. Baker Mayfield wants a late hit. Ref's going to kind of let him go.
I didn't think so.
I don't either. Yeah, I think it's fine. Mass substitution now for Iowa State, trying to get fresh bodies and fresh pass rushers on the field. They've got their starting defensive line now back in the game.
And they do allow Iowa State to get those substitutions in. Now the play clock is down to 2. And Oklahoma's going to have to burn a timeout. And that is not going to make the Sooners very happy. I mean, they waited and waited and waited and waited to allow the substitutions, and by the time the official finally backed off the football, there were like 3 seconds on the play clock. That does not seem right. I can understand why Bob's unhappy.
Iowa State.
Does our official think the microphone is on?
Not great at lip reading.
No. This is what we were talking about, where and you have to allow the defense to substitute if the offense substitutes. So okay, that's by rule. But Iowa State took a long time, and we're making several substitutions.
Several waves of substitutions. See there, yeah, Nigel Tribune, a cornerback, way late on the ball. By the time the referee kind of removed himself off of the ball, there was under 5 seconds to go on the clock.
That is a flaw in the system. 33 seconds to go, 3rd and 10. And Oklahoma had to use their final timeout. Mayfield, pressure comes, he steps up. Mayfield will throw, it is caught for a first down. And now into field goal range inside the 30, that's Geno Lewis.
Yeah, again, just inability to keep him in the pocket. There was a good pressure time that time by Demont Tucker. Forced Mayfield to step up, but he kept his eyes downfield, and now they're in field goal range.
They're not going to spike it to stop the clock, they'll run a play. He wanted to throw to the end zone, and now he's going to throw to the sideline. A completion out of bounds, and it was a legal catch, and then the step out by Basquin.
And that's a throw I think Mayfield, I think he had D.D. Westbrook on a post throw. We've seen great anticipation tonight from number 6. I think that's going to be one when he watches the film tomorrow. He'll wish he had back because Westbrook outside won on his post route in the middle of the field. That could have been a score.
And here's where you got to be real careful. No timeouts. You only have 12 seconds. You cannot get tackled out in the open field. You may not have time to set up a field goal or another play. So this one really has to go to the end zone. With 12 seconds, Mayfield to the end zone. It is caught. Yes, touchdown. Dimitri Flowers with 6 seconds on the clock.
We weren't sure if they were going to have success throwing to running backs without Mixon, without Pirine in the game. And it's a big part of what they do down in the red zone. Dimitri Flowers, this is kind of where he's made a lot of his hay this season. Normally from the tight end fullback spot, there he is in the backfield. He's just running a seam route. Mayfield does a nice job putting air under their football in the back of the end zone where only his guy can make a play. Kane Seeley at linebacker, not able to cover the 240-pound running back tonight. Not used to saying that with Flowers.
That was tremendous. He definitely got the foot down, held onto the ball. Just a great play.
And just clock management in a 2-minute situation, probably as good as you can do it by Lincoln Riley, Bob Stoops, and Oklahoma staff.
Very well done. 6 seconds on the clock. Apparently they did give that timeout back to Oklahoma. I'm not even sure that Mayfield knew it. But the extra point is up and good. And what a swing. Iowa State took the lead 17-14. A quick answer on the long pass play to Westbrook, and then that 2-minute drive handled so beautifully by the Sooners.
Well, and that's really the thing for Oklahoma the rest of the year. It's been this way certainly in Big 12 play. Regardless of how good or bad Oklahoma's defense has been, they've been able to score and continue scoring. Think back to wins against TCU and against Texas. Texas Tech certainly. You know, you give up 59 points and you're still winning. I mean, this offense has answered the bell each and every week. They're not slowing down, and they're going to need it as we continue to talk and spin it forward the rest of their schedule if they want to repeat as Big 12 champs and even be in the conversation for the playoff. They need Baker Mayfield in this offense to keep operating at a high level.
And it's not going to be easy for them to do that because they control their own destiny. They're the only undefeated team left in conference play. But here's the remaining schedule after tonight. Baylor at home, at West Virginia, and then their rivalry game on December 3rd.
Yeah, it's really important that they get some of those injuries, especially on the D-line, I think, back. The good news is they've got a bye week before they play Oklahoma State. That game could be the ultimate determining game with respect to who wins the Big 12.
A little squib kick. Iowa State will return it. Got to be careful here. The ball's on the ground and recovered by the Cyclones. That could have been a disaster. Instead, it'll be the final play of the first half. Iowa State will get the ball to start the second half, but the Sooners really, with those 2 touchdowns, changed the feel of this game. It's 28-17. We'll hear from Coach Stoops in a moment. First, it's the Land Rover halftime report.
Considering the way momentum has swung throughout this game, how would you describe the last minute before halftime?
Well, that's big, you know, to put the ball. Baker can make some plays, made some great plays. You know, that's big momentum coming in at half.
How would you assess your defense so far in this game?
Inconsistent third downs. We had a couple of breakdowns. You know, the one pass, and then on fourth down, the one long run. We had a stun on. They caught us in it, missed the tackle, and that's out the gate. So needs to be better.
Thank you.
Well, we're back here in Ames, Iowa, as we get ready to start the second half. Number 14, Oklahoma, trying to stay perfect in the Big 12 on the road tonight on a Thursday night. And their lead over Iowa State at halftime is 28-17. Baker Mayfield and company, they were down 17-14, and then this happened.
Yeah, it only takes one. This is the most lethal quarterback wide receiver tandem in the country. Deep bomb to D.D. Westbrook coming out of the slot, and then a beautiful 2-minute drive capped off by a touchdown catch by Dimitri Flowers. And what about Baker Mayfield? I mean, I think it's time officially now we kind of reinsert him in this Heisman conversation. His numbers up to this point in the season rival those from last year when he finished 4th. He's actually playing better. He's having a great night tonight.
Well, we heard from Laura, right, where there was some fighting on the sideline, arguing on the defensive side. They've fallen behind in the game, and Mayfield took it upon himself in that offense to make something positive at the end of the half. And this is what you're talking about, the numbers last year, this year. I mean, he's just playing tremendous football again.
He's not missing a lot. Ever since Big 12 play started, Baker Mayfield has been automatic, throwing short, intermediate, and deep, and playing with a sense of urgency. And big reason why this team is still in the discussion for the Big 12 championship is because of Baker Mayfield at the helm of this offense. You need him to keep it going here in the second half. You see him getting all fired up. He knows this thing's far from over. 30 more minutes in regulation. Got to keep rolling.
He can be a polarizing figure. I mean, I think when you play against him, he's got that edge, he's got that confidence, but there is no doubt his teammates respond to him. And he is a total leader on this Oklahoma team. Maybe unlike any other quarterback in the country. Touchback for Iowa State. Just a moment ago, Laura spoke with Matt Campbell, Iowa State's head coach.
Thanks, Coach. You were leading and then gave up 2 big plays right before halftime. What was your message to your team at the half?
Well, we put ourselves in position to be in this football game, and we just have to do a really good job of taking advantage of our opportunities. And, you know, we didn't play our best, and we're right in it. So we're right where we want to be. We've got to do a great job of possessing the football, and this is a huge second half for us. Got to play our best football of the year.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I think it is a big second half. Iowa State, they have a chance here tonight. Now they are behind, having to play from behind against a very talented team, but they did not get run off the field in that first half. Jacob Park, the quarterback, double clutch, and now he's tripped up and goes down. The true freshman Caleb Kelly will get credit for the sack.
But I think Iowa State's game plan can stay the same from what they were doing in the first half. Park getting most of the snaps, trying to throw the ball to Alan Lazard. You bring in the backup, Joel Lanning, situationally running it. They had 100 rushing yards in the first half. You don't have to deviate from what you were doing because it was working. Trust the plan.
2nd and 16. We will have to see how much they can get from David Montgomery, if anything. Their tailback, who has played well in the first half. There is another drop for the tight end. That's the second one of the game. And let's get an update on David Montgomery with Laura.
Dave, the Iowa State athletic trainer just told me David Montgomery is still in the locker room being evaluated for a head injury. So at this point, does not look like he's returning to this game.
There it is. That's what we thought it was. We don't like to speculate on injuries, but that's not good news for the Cyclones because Mike Warren, their talented sophomore, already banged up. And Mitchell Harger, who is a senior walk-on, is playing again on 3rd and long.
These are big downs in pass protection, expecting blitz and pressure.
Just a 4-man rush. Park steps up, throws short. That pass is caught, but well short of the first down. So the Oklahoma defense will hold on the first possession of the second half.
And obviously, it's important now in these kind of punting situations. You get a lot of hang time and allow your coverage team to get down on D.D. Westbrook. He's a guy that already had a 71-yard return for a score last week against Kansas. Also had a 100-yard kickoff return score that got negated by a penalty. We've seen a couple line drive punts tonight that have allowed Westbrook to get north-south. You cannot allow that to happen. If you're punting right now, Downing, Colin Downing for Iowa State, you've got to get some air under this.
Pressure on the punter. On 4th down, that is a line drive returnable kick. Westbrook is going to field it almost over the shoulder style and turn it upfield. One good thing, it was pinned toward the sideline, and so Iowa State with some good coverage. So the Cyclones defense on the field. Oklahoma put 28 points on the board. They have found a way, Iowa State, though, to generate some pressure.
Well, it was an aggressive game plan out of the gate. This is not a defense that normally likes to blitz a lot, but they've won some up front on the defensive line. They've had some success with corner blitzes, getting to Baker Mayfield and really trying to put him under duress. There's been a lot more man coverage than I expected also for the Cyclones in the secondary, trying to force Baker Mayfield to have to make throws into small windows, under strain and under duress. Unfortunately for the Cyclones so far, Baker Mayfield's been almost perfect.
You know, sometimes you play in a system like this, those quarterback numbers get discounted a little bit. He's played really, really well. I mean, it's not just the system. This guy has made a lot of impressive throws, and so has this guy made runs and catches. Dimitri Flowers, with no Mixon, with no P. Ryan, 2 of the most talented running backs in the country. The fullback has stepped up.
And he looks really natural, doesn't he? He's just kind of showing good vision. He's not hurrying. He's letting these holes develop and getting north, and he's been a great compliment to this passing game.
He's going to get the ball again, and he'll get another first down.
Those are the hidden yards I'm talking about. There are a lot of running backs that go down there on first contact. There are a lot of running backs that try to put the foot in the ground and go east-west, make a guy miss, potentially lose yards. But he's got a good style. You see Samaje Perine, he's one of the best in the country. Big loss not having him, and they expect to get him back for their next game, which is huge for this offense.
And Joe Mixon, who was suspended for this game, some sort of altercation. The team really would not comment much on it, but there was some sort of altercation with a meter maid, a parking attendant on campus. So he's not here. Mayfield throwing and going down. Could not get rid of it. A sack for Iowa State.
Iowa State came with the corner blitz again, but it was Kane Seeley, the middle linebacker, on a delayed blitz that was able to make it in right here, looping this side. He just kind of lets all of the line stunt up front carry up the wash, and there's a problem with Dimitri Flowers now in the backfield, right? Inexperienced, hasn't really played a lot of running back. He's looked good carrying it that time, missed the pickup block. We've seen Oklahoma on 2 bad plays. Remember, the interception was because of running back, the true freshman Adams missed the corner on a blitz. If you're Iowa State, you might want to think about continuing to dial this up.
It's kind of a hidden part of not having your top line running backs. A little mistimed on that play. Finds the big receiving target, Mark Andrews, over the middle, and gets the lost yardage back to set up 3rd down.
And you see there, like, not blitzing and just too much time. And there's Mitchell Myers, we talked a little bit about before. Really inspiring story. Starting defensive end down on the ground for the Cyclones.
Pointing to that left knee, the guy who has overcome Hodgkin's lymphoma to get back on the football field. Amazing kid, and he's hurting. From the Woodlands, Texas, just north of Houston. He's not only back this year, he's played well. His mom, who has been so impressive in supporting her son, obviously concerned.
Yeah, he was working on this play against Orlando Brown, and it looked to me like he just sort of planted it a little bit awkwardly on his pass rush move. You see him kind of hop right there and kind of land, and then just gets it caught up and doesn't bend the right way.
Well, see, sometimes those can be scary. You can feel something when nothing goes terribly wrong.
And it looks worse than it is. It really is, because that did not look good.
Did not look good. So we'll see. And hope for the best. 3rd and 6.
So here's the good question. If you're Iowa State, do you risk pressure? Do you risk one-on-ones with D.D. Westbrook? Man-to-man look here from the Cyclones.
Westbrook far outside right. Now we may get an adjustment and a counter from the defense. And great on 3rd down. Throwing on the move. Another perfect pass for a 1st down.
A nice job, too, by Geno Lewis in the slot, understanding where that 1st down marker was and getting the appropriate depth. Baker Mayfield, really good thrower on the run, but Geno Lewis, he's really coming on here in these last 2 weeks. He's adding a different element to the passing attack for offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley.
1st down, Oklahoma. Geno Lewis, 4 catches on 4 targets. He was not very involved early in the year. I think everybody figured when he transferred in, he was going to be a big part of the offense.
Down here is an island here. D.D. Westbrook one-on-one.
Handed off to Flowers, and that's not the style of running for Dimitri Flowers. Trying to go side to side. Jaquan Bailey with the tackle.
And you have to understand who Oklahoma is losing without Joe Mixon in the game. Joe Mixon, if people out there haven't watched yet Joe Mixon play, he's one of the most dynamic, one of the more versatile running backs in the entire country. When you talk about a guy that can run, catch, throw, he does everything extremely well. And I think certainly D.D. Westbrook's resurgence after being injured has helped this offense. I think you could give Joe Mixon as much credit too.
Yeah. The year of the running back with all the great talent at that position around the country. Mixon maybe sometimes does get a little lost in the shuffle. Mayfield looking deep, and he'll throw into coverage with a penalty flag. In fact, 2 of them thrown, 3 of them on the field. That was the linebacker Willie Harvey in coverage against Flowers.
Yeah, Flowers was trying to work back to that football, and a lot of body contact here by Harvey. A lot of kind of hand fighting and trying to fight back to get to the football, and Harvey never turned around to locate the
pass
throw.
Interference, defense, number 7, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
All of a sudden now Iowa State kind of with their backs up against the wall. We saw that kind of that surge by Oklahoma's offense late in the first half. Of course, the 3 and out, get the ball back, and here they are on the doorstep again, looking to blow this thing wide open.
Yeah, that was big. That was 2nd and long after the big loss on the rushing play. So now 1st and 10 inside the 35 of Iowa State. Play fake. A little screen to Westbrook with a block. That speed to the outside and a stutter step move. D.D. Westbrook. He's fun to watch. 1st down, Oklahoma.
He's just so sudden. You see the speed. He's got a lot of flags late here. Extracurricular activity.
That one may be
Orlando Brown. Yeah, Orlando Brown, I think, took offense to the way that they threw D.D. Westbrook down on the ground.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Offense, number 78. That's a 15-yard penalty. The down does count. 2nd down.
See Orlando Brown here. He's at big number 78.
Correction. 1st and 10. The line to gain was made when the foul occurred as a dead ball. So it'll be 1st and 10.
And he hits Gabe Lewin, and he just obviously doesn't have to do that. That requires 0 effort. You see your own receiver go to the ground. You can just go back to the huddle. You've got a great drive going, and it's those things that'll certainly drive Bob Stoops crazy.
So it is 1st and 10. The only good news there, he got the 1st down. They count that, then move the penalty yardage back. And that's bad news for Oklahoma. But it is 1st and 10. Mayfield has Flowers next to him in the backfield. Flowers has it. Gets hit hard right around the 30.
And Orlando Brown, he's still John. He's still talking out there. Got chippy here in the 2nd half.
Well, our next top 25 ranking show on Tuesday, Chris Peterson and company. Will they still be on the outside looking in? I think almost everybody feels like they still control their own destiny. Flowers pitches it back. And now coming to the other side with some speed. And well defended by Iowa State. That was Jarvis Baxter on the reverse, but Iowa State had it defended pretty well.
I think for Oklahoma, you mentioned this earlier, in these kind of situations, obviously you're expecting a run play and you're expecting this to go downhill. With their big backs and Dimitri Flowers, this is kind of his kind of position, the way he's been running, moving piles. The east-west stuff hasn't worked as well for them tonight. It's been mostly north-south. They should stick with that.
North-south with Flowers. Close, but I don't think he got there. In fact, he stopped a good half, maybe full yard short.
11-point game. You kick a field goal and you make it 2 touchdowns, obviously, but this is definitely no gimme. I like the call here. Playing on the road. Bob Stoops going for it. You got a big back. This is something you don't see very often, though. Baker Mayfield under center kind of signals maybe quarterback sneak.
I like it too. Ooh. Now Mayfield sprints out. It's a wildcat with Flowers going to take the direct snap, and you figure he'll run it. He will. 1st down, Oklahoma.
Wow.
Baker Mayfield, he couldn't stand not to be involved with the play.
It's the one thing he's just got to lay off. He's just so anxious all the time. Look at number 6 down here at the bottom of the screen. A lot of quarterbacks on wildcat plays, they just stand still. Coach says, look, just don't get hit. Don't make any contact with anybody. And he just can't help himself.
He also almost could have blocked in the back there. So maybe better just to take it easy. It's hard for him to do. This is the 12th play of this drive. Oklahoma's being very methodical. Not playing super tempo. Using Flowers on the ground. Gets another 4, maybe 5 yards.
And it's from Iowa State here. It's sort of that pick your poison dilemma, because you don't want to just play big zone coverages and let Oklahoma run the football straight at you with a big back and a good offensive line. But you're trying to blitz and you're trying to pick your spots, coming from the right and coming from the left. But when you do, again, you've got number 11 then isolated outside one-on-one. So tough spot to be in. The defensive staff right now for the Cyclones.
You see those drive numbers. You don't see that all that often from Oklahoma. More than 6 minutes, 12 plays. Just kind of marching down. This is such a big play offense. Mayfield to Westbrook. End zone caught, but out of bounds.
It's a good call. Westbrook back there with very good awareness of where that end line is. He was trying to get his feet dragged. The right foot just touched out before. Now setting up third down. And it's kind of an area, you know, for tight end, Mark Andrews. We've seen him.
Man, that was close, by the way. Not to cut you off.
Yeah,
that is close.
Ooh.
Wow.
I think that right foot touched just before. They're going to look at it again.
I think you're right.
Previous play is under review.
Which touches first? I think you're right that the right foot goes down a fraction of a second before the left foot. But that's what's in question because he caught the ball.
Well, and again, like, he knows where that back line is, and he's trying to get it dragged. He's dragging the left foot. And kind of, again, I think that right foot just by a split second touches first. Right now it's down. That's like a bang bang play. Those are great angles, by the way, to look at.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think the call will stand, but that is really, really close. That's a pretty good effort by Westbrook to try to get that left foot down.
Yeah, really a perfect throw again by Mayfield, putting this where only his guy can make the play.
I just don't know if you can overturn that. Okay. Let's see.
Well, the left foot hasn't yet touched. Right there, it kind of looks like maybe it's already dragging, but I don't think it's touched the ground yet. You get kind of a clear picture. That's about as close as it's going to get.
Usually you sort of default to, if it's this difficult to tell, you can't overturn it, just because almost by definition it's not indisputable if you have to watch it this many times. Man, I am imagining that will stand and it'll be incomplete.
Well, what's hard too is when you slow it down like that, it makes it look like the left foot was dragging for 3 yards.
Right,
which,
and it was
which
not.
was not the case, but sort of the optical illusion of slow-mo.
Yep, that's a good point by you. All you have to do is for a split second get that foot down before the other foot goes out of bounds. But we'll get the ruling.
After further review, the ruling on the field is an incompleted pass, and it stands as called on the field.
Yeah, that is very, very close, but incomplete. To set up third down. In a spot where you would figure if they don't get it, probably kick the field goal. It's a big opportunity for the Iowa State defense.
And obviously, for them to get back in this game, you got to force field goals in this area of the field. You can't give up touchdowns. Critical down here for the Cyclones. Generate some momentum, get back in.
Basquin came in motion.
Looks like the safety is favoring D.D. Westbrook a little bit.
They do bring some pressure straight ahead. Mayfield cannot get away. Well, that pressure came right through. Mayfield saw it, but just couldn't escape from Justin Thomas.
Yeah, Justin Thomas is impressive to watch from an athletic standpoint. He was a defensive end until after the Baylor game, and then they decided to move him inside to defensive tackle. He's 6'6", 275 pounds, and he's good against the run, but what he brings them is a pass rush and athleticism to the interior of this defensive line, and I think there's a face mask on that play that got missed.
Yeah, that's one of those where did he just glance or did he grab even for a split second? I think he might have grabbed. They didn't call it. Now the field goal try is up and good from 36 yards. So a long drive ends up in 3 points, and for Matt Campbell, maybe a win. How close was it to a touchdown drive for Oklahoma with D.D. Westbrook in the back of the end zone? It was really close.
That's about as close as it gets. Just a bang-bang play, tap. Ultimately ruled out. They settle for the field goal, and we got a 14-point game here in Ames.
Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart in Columbus. Number 6 Ohio State will host number 10 Nebraska in the Big Ten. Saturday 8 Eastern on ABC, also on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. You termed it a playoff elimination game, and I think it really may be. To the goal line, Iowa State's going to return this with Mwangu. Does have really good speed. Tried to get to that corner in a nice play. to push him out of bounds. Iowa State's offense back on the field when we come back to Ames. 31-17. Oklahoma leads.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And Charles Schwab.
There are a lot of Cubs fans here in Iowa, and they are all happy is not the right word to describe it today. Just an amazing scene last night, an incredible accomplishment. That W flag is going to fly up above Wrigley Field all winter long.
Yeah, we were watching it last night with a bunch of Cubs fans here as well. They love it.
Into it.
That was one of the more entertaining baseball games of the year.
Of all time.
It just happened to be Game 7 of the World Series.
Of all time. One of the great games of all time. Now the World Series is over, and our full attention, and not that we didn't have a lot of attention on college football, but a fly sweep fake, and it is the running quarterback Joel Lanning who is in for the start of this drive to get 4 yards. This game, Iowa State, remember, they took the 17-14 lead on the long Lanning run. Since then, this has happened.
Yeah, and here's a problem for Iowa State now. Without David Montgomery in the game, no Mike Warren either because of injury. You've got to find different ways to be creative when you want to run it. It's going to be Lanning at quarterback. You just saw them. Nwangu on a fake jet sweep. You don't really have the conventional running game that you had at the start now because of injuries.
Yeah, they are thin at the moment at running back. Harger back in the backfield. Lanning will keep it. Lanning, that's tough going in there. Gets a couple, set up third down. DJ Ward led the way.
Yeah, I think this front seven for Oklahoma has played a lot better here in recent series. And at the point of attack in the running game, they're filling these lanes, and linebackers are staying in gaps, making life a little bit harder for Iowa State up front. They're very, very talented. Oklahoma's always been that. We know they're decimated with injuries. When they play their assignments, there's as solid as run defense as you'll find in the Big 12.
Well, it's 3rd and 4. Joel Lanning still has not thrown the ball in this game. This may be a spot where he's going to have to. Back to pass. All the time in the world, and he's going deep. That one is a jump ball, incomplete. Good coverage there. Intended for Carson Epps. Dakota Austin knocked it away.
Yeah, now setting up 4th and 4, and again, not out of the realm of possibility for Iowa State to go for this in their own end. Really nice job of coverage. It was one that did touch the hands of Carson Epps, but clean by Dakota Austin at corner. Looks like Matt Campbell's elected to punt. You know, we haven't seen a trick play yet on offense, or really a trick yet on special teams. And an onside kick to start the second half against Kansas State last week in a game like this. 4th and 4. Would Iowa State be willing to try a fake?
Maybe if the play clock were not winding down, they would have been, but they didn't get the ball snapped. Took too long to decide. That's going to be a delay of game. I mean, he was signaling that he was asking for a timeout. Now, they may talk about, should we give it to him?
Prior to the delay of the game, timeout, Iowa State. First charge timeout of the half.
Now, if it's me, I would have just taken the penalty and saved the timeout. But they burned the timeout. 4th down when we come back. All right, let's sneak in our Aflac trivia question. Oklahoma, they won 17 straight games against Iowa State. Which FBS team holds the longest active win streak against one opponent? That's our Aflac trivia question. Jesse?
Florida, Kentucky?
Iowa State, will give you a minute to think about it at home. Iowa State burned that timeout in a spot where we were thinking maybe fake, but you call the timeout. The defense is basically on the field for Oklahoma. So now you've spent a timeout just to save 5 yards, and you punt the ball away to Westbrook, who makes the fair catch inside at the 20. Okay, plenty of time to think about it. Our Aflac question. Aflac. And answer Oklahoma. They've beaten Iowa State 17 straight time. What's the longest streak against one opponent? You were right on your Gators. Now, by the way, Florida against Kentucky. Who's number 7 there?
You see that 6.440 speed on the zone read before the zone read was in vogue. Steve Spurrier didn't call a lot of quarterback running plays. I know that.
rushed for 4 touchdowns in that game, in one game.
Actually tied Emmitt Smith and Fred Taylor for most rushing touchdowns in a game, which is, but in fairness, 2 of them were quarterback sneaks. And then, of course, Tim Tebow, like, wrecked that record some years later. But I've never run, it's the farthest I've ever run in my life, I think, in those highlights.
Really impressive.
My hamstring,
Westbrooks.
yeah, hamstring still hurts.
Yeah, how many touchdowns rushing did you have in your career? You had 4 that day.
I had 4 that day. I might have had 5 or 6, to be honest. I think the rest were quarterback sneaks. I was really good at that. Really good at the QB sneak. I mean, you had a game plan for me.
You need 6 inches. I can get it.
I can get that.
The 2nd and 5 for Oklahoma. 30 consecutive wins for the Gators against Kentucky. Now, this is a long one, too. Iowa State has not beaten Oklahoma at home since 1960. Flowers takes that short pass from Mayfield and gets the first down.
And you're seeing a completely different tempo. We've kind of noticed this. Oklahoma, we're used to seeing them sprint up to the line of scrimmage, get fast, substitute if they're going to, and get going. And they've really kind of grinded this game to a halt now that they've got it back in control.
They look totally comfortable doing it. I mean, to me, it just screams that they're trying to protect the defense, not expose the defense. But give them credit because they're used to just super tempo and they're executing nicely. They have dominated the ball since Iowa State led 17-14. Flowers at big hole, close to another first down.
I think it also speaks, though, to Bob Stoops and this coaching staff's confidence in the offensive line. I mean, probably one of the bigger reasons, if not the biggest reason, this offense has had its resurgence, really, in Big 12 play. Well, they've got 3 sophomores and a freshman up front, super young. They lost a couple key seniors from last year's unit. Lost their starting left guard, Cody Ford, to a broken leg against Ohio State. But this unit that's had the same starting lineup the last 5 games now, they're gelling. They've got control of the line of scrimmage right now tonight.
Yardage starting to be much more lopsided. Time of possession. They'll swing it out left side. Pass complete. And the receiver fighting hard, but Geno Lewis ran into his own blocker. So the gain minimized.
And like with any offensive line, see Lincoln Riley right there, the offensive coordinator for the Sooners. The O-line's playing well. It makes your quarterback look better. It makes the running backs look better. You can certainly say that about, you've watched Baker Mayfield and Joe Mixon and those guys and their numbers the last 5 games. These guys up front, biggest read line.
Well, how about the little pop-up there promo for Nebraska, Ohio State? J.T. Barrett was looking a lot better when his offensive line was playing well early in the year. Yeah, it was hard on him against Penn State. He was under pressure the whole game. Mayfield will throw on the move, kind of a wobbler, incomplete for Westbrook. 3rd and 6 coming up, and a chance for Oklahoma to keep this tempo going, but a chance for Iowa State's defense to get off the field. 3rd down has been a very productive down for the Oklahoma offense. Third and 6, but before the play was snapped, Oklahoma did not like something they saw. They called a timeout.
Timeout, Oklahoma.
I think T.D. Westbrook's telling Brian Peavy, you were one-on-one bump and run without any safety deep.
Yeah.
And he's asking right now, can I get the ball, please?
Can you believe we just called a timeout? He was licking his chops.
ESPN, home of the New Year's Six and the college football playoff.
It's hard to believe, but we're churning closer. Getting toward the back end of the regular season. We're into November here on this Thursday night. Oklahoma with a 31-17 lead on the road against a big underdog facing a 3rd and 6. And now movement after the timeout. Penalty flags flying all over the place. That will not make the Sooners real happy.
Full start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
An interesting situation there for Iowa State defensively because it's 3rd and long, and they're bringing an all-out blitz. And two interesting things. Dimitri Flowers, you know, the couple times we've seen him struggle tonight, it's been in pass pickup, pass blocking, but then of course you're leaving D.D. Westbrook outside alone, and Baker Mayfield, with his ability to extend the play, makes this dangerous. They got a coverage bust issue down here now. No one outside covering Flowers.
Trying to get that tightened up.
Well, they've got a nickel guy now lined up on Westbrook. They didn't want that.
Mayfield not looking his way. Now under pressure, and Mayfield gets sacked. So in the end, it all worked out. Benton and Willie Harvey were both there.
Yeah, Willie Harvey on the delayed blitz. This is really one of the things he does well in this defense, I think, is bring pressure. They also had some heat coming on the outside by the true freshman, Jaquan Bailey, number 19, who's had himself a very good game tonight. And then downfield, you know, there's a miscommunication in the secondary by Iowa State, a little jersey grabbing by the nickel DeAndre Payne on Westbrook, but a good stand by the Cyclones defensively.
Very important hold. Now the punt return set up. There's a penalty flag on the field. That's Lazard, who was back there. He gets dragged to the ground inside the 25. The flag was thrown before Lazard even caught the ball. So we'll see what the penalty is.
They're going to get a hold.
That felt like maybe they were setting up some kind of trick return or something.
During the kick, holding number 8 of the receiving team. Penalty enforced at the end of the kick, 10 yards, first down.
So that did not work, and that will be poor field position for the Cyclones. Doubleheader on ESPN on Saturday in the Big Ten. Maryland goes to Ann Arbor to take on number 3 Michigan and Jabril Peppers and company. That's at 3:30 Eastern. Then at 10:30 in Berkeley, Memorial Stadium will host the number 5 team, Washington. The Huskies on the road for a second straight week.
Yeah, and Washington right now with the best pass defense in the Pac-12, but they're going up against Davis Webb, the Texas Tech transfer. He's thrown 29 touchdowns. That leads any Power 5 conference quarterback in the nation. They spin the bean up at Cal.
Washington's been so balanced, offense, defense, special teams. Iowa State does not have a first down in this quarter, and we're with 50 seconds to go. It is Jacob Park back in the game at quarterback, under pressure, and he went right into the pressure, somehow throws it away.
He's in the pocket, and I think this should be intentional grounding. Right near the end zone, too. Close to, this should almost be a safety, I think.
Outside the pocket, the ball crossed the line of scrimmage, incompleted pass.
I disagree. He is not outside the pocket. We can watch this on a replay from a high end zone look. He never made it outside of the tackle box.
All right, let's watch. He retreats. Did he get knocked out of the tackle box?
No. To me, he's still inside the tackle box, and he doesn't throw that anywhere near an eligible receiver. That should be intentional grounding.
They thought he got outside. That's a big ruling. They'll swing it out left side. Shante Jones got close. Where will they spot him? Just short of a first down.
So you got to be creative because you can't run the ball conventionally now. So some of your more athletic guys outside, you start throwing these quick throws to guys like Jones in the perimeter, and that really sort of replaces the run game. That's kind of like an extension of the sweep play. It's something that Iowa State's going to need here late. He's too talented, I think, Dave. Sorry to cut you out. Too talented. He needs his touches.
Yep, I'm with you. It's been quiet for Lazard in this quarter as well. Lanning in the running quarterback. Nwangu. They faked that jet sweep, and Lanning ran right into the line. Now it's going to depend on the spot, and it looks like he's going to get a good spot. So they will give him the first down. Oklahoma didn't agree with that spot, that's for sure. But first down, Iowa State on what will probably be the final play of the quarter. Their first down of the quarter.
Yeah, we saw some magic from Iowa State offensively late in the game against Kansas State last week. They're going to need a similar effort here from Jacob Park and this offense.
Yep. You're right about that. For as lopsided as that game felt over the last 15 minutes, it's a 2-score game, 31-17. AT&T brings us tonight's Inside Access. So what does it take to broadcast a college football game? The announcers, we get here, we unpack, got to get the power cords ready, SIDs come in, go over depth charts, pronunciations. Jesse, what are you working on there?
Yeah, that's a gong show all of a sudden. And you see, like, I got Mike Black. He's kind of my spotter. He's over there beside me. He's drinking my water.
Yeah, we got Tim Schwartz and Joe Sullivan on the other side, spotting, stats, notes. So we do have a lot of help. We don't come up with all this brilliant stuff on our own.
I just keep repeating what our producer says in my ear.
That too, you couldn't even see that as part of our AT&T Inside Access. Yeah, Josh Hoffman just feeding you stuff. 1st and 10, Iowa State. We start the 4th quarter, and it's a 2-score game. Nwangwu's got the speed. At first upfield, you can see the talent for a gain of 8 on the first play of the 4th quarter. Well, we do that. Look, we're joking about it, but we do owe a debt of gratitude to all the folks who help us out.
Yeah, make us look way better than we are.
2nd and 2. Park going to throw the ball all the way across the field. Lazard slipped the tackle, got the first down.
Yeah, they got to get that going. I mean, he was targeted 8 times in the first half. That's the first time they've targeted him here in the second. And it's going to be tough sledding when he's working against Jordan Thomas, number 7 from Oklahoma. But they need to take some shots with him at 6'5". Let him go climb the ladder and see if you can get up over a corner, find an explosive play in the passing game.
Penalty flag on the field. They're taking a long time to talk about this one. It's a big call. It was 2nd and 2.
Personal foul. Defense. Number 95. Late hit. 15-yard penalty. First down.
It was a part of the field where if you're Iowa State, maybe you're worried about a chop block, something like that. Instead, personal foul on the Sooners.
I don't think that was a great call. Austin Roberts, number 95, kind of casually ran into the back of an Iowa State offensive lineman. It didn't look malicious to me. I'd like to see the replay of that.
The senior's been playing some pretty good football lately. So across midfield, Iowa State a chance to make this a lot closer. Down 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. Park going deep into coverage and a jump ball incomplete. That's the matchup. Jordan Thomas against Lazard.
Jordan Thomas has so much talent and potential. He's big, he can run, he's got good hips and ball skills, and when he's playing with maximum effort, he's one of the best in the country. The problem is this year, at times he's gotten lazy and he's taken plays off and given up explosive plays, but right now he understands how key of a matchup this is, and you can see, he's given up 5 inches in height to a much bigger wide receiver, but he's all over that.
Now that was a good play. 2nd and 10 on the Oklahoma side of the field. Throw nicely delivered, a cut upfield, first down and more for Iowa State. That's Hakeem Butler, the freshman from Baltimore.
A lot of cushion being given by the true freshman corner Jordan Parker opposite of Jordan Thomas. That's kind of been the issue for Oklahoma defensively. When teams have thrown at Jordan Thomas, not a lot of success. When they throw the other way, that's where the big plays have come.
Nwangwu gets the handoff. Iowa State has their own running back problems. Oklahoma's have been well documented. No Mixon, no Pirine, but Mike Warren limited, and we haven't seen him at all. And now David Montgomery out of this game. They're down to their 3rd string tailback. Lazard comes back on the field. Huge drive in this game, was still a long way to go. They started on their own 14, and now they're inside the 25. Park looking for Lazard, and incomplete. He overthrew him.
Yeah, you just got to give him a chance. You got to be able to keep it in the park and allow Alan Lazard an opportunity to at least go up. And if he can catch it and high point it, get his feet down, great. If he can fight back for it, force pass interference, great. But nothing good happens on deep throws when you overthrow receivers or throw it out of bounds.
3rd down. Park, he's had some moments for this Iowa State team the last few weeks. The overthrow has been a problem for him.
And some of his biggest moments in tonight's game, though, have been when they've lined him up in the slot, kind of gotten him away from Jordan Thomas. Jordan Thomas hasn't followed him inside. Maybe an area here, you kind of let him use his size over the middle of the field against a smaller body.
Oklahoma has to use another timeout. 13-10 to go. 31-17 Sooners. Celebrating its 12th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. Since 2005, Allstate has donated millions in scholarship funds. This game is not over. Iowa State 1-7, winless in the Big 12, playing at home against a team they have not beaten in almost 3 decades. But with 13:10 to go, on the move, 3rd and 8, down 2 touchdowns against Oklahoma. Sooners showing pressure. Pressure comes and it's picked up. And Park will throw back shoulder. Caught. Touchdown. Dondre Daly. And this is very much a game now.
A successful play like that, a lot of moving parts have to come together. And first off, Iowa State up front does a great job picking up the blitz from Oklahoma and giving Jacob Park an opportunity to get this up. You see a cross dog by both linebackers. There's the running back, the walk-on Mitchell Harger picking it up, and then there's no defense for a perfect throw. That was really good coverage by the true freshman Jordan Parker. You mentioned it, Dave, the back shoulder by Jacob Park, sticking it where that number 3 is on Dondre Daly. Kind of one possession game.
Extra point up and good with 13:04 to go. 23-yard touchdown. A 10-play, 86-yard drive that made the Iowa State head coach pretty happy.
This is a team that just doesn't quit. They never stop fighting. You got to give them a ton of credit for that. Just a nice drive. Easily the best drive of the second half, and Matt Campbell. And he's fired up. I told Laura coming in here in the second half, they had to put themselves in a position to win this game, make the plays they needed to give themselves a chance. And you look at some of the streaks, the bad streaks that can all come to an end. They understand how big of a game this is. Again, not going to a bowl game, but that doesn't mean they're quitting. I love that. I love the fight in this Iowa State football team.
Ask Kansas State about it. Ask Baylor. Ask Oklahoma State. These guys were pesky, and Oklahoma maybe the most talented of all of those teams, but they are going to get challenged. Baker Mayfield and company, who knows? There's a long way to go in this game, but the longer it goes, the pressure shifts over to the Oklahoma side. Because of the expectation level. Another short kickoff. Taken right around the 20, trying to keep it out of the hands of Westbrook, and they've done a pretty good job of that. Jones with the return, and we'll go downstairs to Laura.
Well, Dave, Oklahoma offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley has been laying into his offense, saying there's so many points we've left out on the field, saying, guys, this game should not be this close, really challenging them to step up. Also telling Baker Mayfield he needs to expect the pressure that Iowa State's defense is bringing. He said they are blitzing a lot more in the second half. You've got to be ready for it.
And Laura, to your point, when they're doing that, more often than not, D.D. Westbrook is isolated somewhere. And my opinion, I don't think number 11's seen the ball enough here in the second half. I know Oklahoma's tried to slow down the tempo and run it a little bit more, but this is a game again. And in games like this, with it on the line, your best player has to touch the football.
Now remember the last time, now Iowa State took the lead in that instance, but Oklahoma answered when the momentum had changed with the long touchdown pass. Now they'll try to give it to Flowers. He got a yard. It's different, it's understandable, but it feels strange to watch Oklahoma play offense this deliberately. And I think there's a pretty clear reason they're doing it, but it's not the style of offense you're used to seeing when you watch the Sooners. He's been productive even though he's got only the 4 catches. See if they can get number 11 the ball. Second down, here comes the pressure. They will throw toward Westbrook, and he catches for a first down.
Got to do it. And there's a lot of ways that they can get him involved. You see a little jog here on the sideline between him and that Iowa State bench, but the intensity's gone up. You know, I think part of that is a little bit of frustration from him. I don't probably think that he thinks he's been as involved as he should be in this game plan, especially knowing they didn't have Joe Mixon coming in at running back. I thought he'd be a much bigger part.
It was almost like he was trying to pick a fight there. He was looking for somebody to argue with. Flowers, more positive gain on first down, out close to the 45.
Now of the big challenge for this front seven from Iowa State. You know, can they control the run with 6 bodies and try and give cornerback safety help to help out against Westbrook? Easier said than done against a much improved offensive line from the Sooners, but this is where Iowa State up front, inside the box, they've got to be as good as they've been all year.
Has been good to see 58 Mitchell Myers back in the game with that leg injury. They'll get Westbrook another touch, and there's the speed. Just that quick burst in a small space to get the first down.
It doesn't have to always be a 60-yard post to get him involved. You know, in air raid offenses, you see a lot more of these quick wide receiver tunnel screens like that to get these guys the ball in space. But you're right, Dave, he's got sudden quickness. I mean, speed to run by you, but also speed to release off the ball to get north quickly.
They did have to come off the field after that play. His helmet is off. He's on a knee on the sideline. First down, Oklahoma into Iowa State territory. Flowers, pretty nifty run by the fullback Dimitri Flowers.
But they're really good patience. You know, a lot of running backs just get this handoff and they just run as fast and hard as they can into a line and end up knocking their head against the wall. You know, these zone blocking schemes take time, and oftentimes there's a cutback available if you just are patient enough. Something Joe Mixon's so good at doing and something Pirine so good at doing. And I've been impressed with Dimitri Flowers tonight running the football.
The junior from San Antonio. Westbrook still had his helmet off. He is not on the field for this second down play. Give it to Flowers again. Why not? Hit hard and stopped. No, not stopped short. He's going to push right to that first down mark.
Hidden yardage.
Yeah, I mean, look, if he goes down on that first big hit, it's 3rd and 1 or 3rd and a yard and a half. Who knows? You get the first down, move the chains, and now you get number 11 back on the field.
Going back and taking a look at the hit that actually forced him to leave the game on this little, this little receiver screen they threw out. Ooh. So he took a shot right on that left elbow there.
Under 10 minutes to go. This is a 1-score game. Mayfield, Flowers. Power football from the Sooners. Game 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, this is really where Iowa State needs their 2 defensive tackles, Devon Tucker and Justin Thomas, to kind of take over in the inside. That's the strength of this D-line for Iowa State. Now their 2 best run defenders coming out of the game, they're getting gassed.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye also on number 58, Eric Wren, and he's going to go down. I think he had to. He was not feeling good. He tried to stay on the field and get up. He's in a lot of pain.
Well, and he's the starting center. He's the guy that makes all the calls in protection, identifying the Mike linebacker to help this offensive line in its point, target point.
Right.
Ooh, yeah, and it looks like he got Dimitri Flowers. Ouch.
Oh my goodness.
Just rolling in the back of his leg. Ooh.
So we'll hope that Eric Wren is okay. We'll take a timeout. 9:28 to go. Sooners lead is just a touchdown.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA, and Dr. Pepper. It's college football tradition.
Baker Mayfield and the Oklahoma offense, they have had some spectacular moments in this game, and yet, since halftime, only 3 points on the board for the Sooners. And this is a 1-touchdown game. The center, Eric Wren, important part of their offensive line, got rolled up on with his right leg. He's out of the game. So it looks like Jonathan Alvarez, who's played a lot of football up front, have a backup at several positions now. The junior is in to snap the ball. And we'll see.
Different continuity. Remember, they had the same starting lineup the last 5 games. That's obviously when they've been playing their best. How does this affect them?
Second down, Mayfield in the pocket, throws right to his target along the sideline, Geno Lewis. First down, Oklahoma. The offensive line functioned just fine on that second down play. Clearly in field goal range. I'm sure Oklahoma would like more than that.
Yeah, you expect Oklahoma to kind of get back running in here. They've had a lot of success, especially on first down.
We got Flowers, who's taking the bulk of the carries, almost like a run-pass type play to Westbrook. We got knocked down.
That's exactly what it was, Dave. This is supposed to be a run play, but Baker Mayfield, if he has a look outside that he likes, he can just catch the snap and spit it out. And they put D.D. Westbrook in the slot. I haven't seen him line up there a lot in this game, but just a lot of cushion given to him. It's a good decision on the fly by Baker Mayfield, making sure the offense in the best play possible. And D.D. Westbrook, he's had 3 catches on this drive. Not a lot of stuff deep down the field, but you know, good on this coaching staff and Lincoln Riley for getting him back involved.
Now we got a Cyclones player who's banged up. That's Justin Thomas. He has maybe been their best defensive player tonight.
Yeah, he's been disruptive ever since they made that move after the Baylor game inside. He's athletic enough to get pressure on the quarterback, but also strong enough to hold up against the run. And with success all of a sudden that Dimitri Flowers in Oklahoma is having on this drive here in the 4th quarter running the ball, number 8's a guy that Iowa State needs on the field.
So he limps off. 2nd and 4 for the Sooners, leading 31-24 against a team they've beaten 17 times in a row. A team that is winless in the Big 12, but has definitely been getting better, has challenged some of the best teams in this league. They are looking for a breakthrough win. And really the theme of this game in the second half especially has been how deliberate Oklahoma has been on offense. A sprint out for Mayfield to the end zone into coverage, and that one actually was caught by the defensive back, but out of bounds.
Well, then he had D.D. Westbrook wide open on the sideline. An opportunity to go get that first down. This is a force by Baker Mayfield. I haven't seen him do this a lot in this game. A nice job by the cornerback, Brian Peavy, just reading the eyes and going to the throw. But because he didn't take the sure completion to Westbrook now, setting up 3rd and medium, 3rd and 4.
After the 4 touchdowns in the first half, only a field goal in the second half. Play clock already down to 5.
There's the one-on-one in a man-to-man situation, top of the screen.
And the play clock was about to expire. Oklahoma used its final timeout of the game to make sure that a penalty wasn't called. And Baker Mayfield is saying, well, we got the play snapped. We didn't need that, but it was close.
Well, they're just not used to going this slow.
Yeah, I think it has, and it's a challenge when you play one way almost all the time to just flip that switch, and they've tried to do it.
Well, 3rd downs are obviously downs that you want to slow the tempo down anyway. Kind of get lined up quickly, look to the sideline, make sure you get in the right play possible. But that was a really good look they had, and now because they've had to call the timeout, will Iowa State show them that same look? Because they had D.D. Westbrook in a good position one-on-one to the right side of the formation, and now because you've taken that timeout, it looks like Iowa State may be going to get their best defensive lineman back on the field too.
All right, a quick reminder, you don't want to miss it. Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart. Nebraska, Ohio State, 8 Eastern on ABC. The Huskers going on the road against the Buckeyes, who have had an impressive season so far. A little more wobbly lately. Trying to play better at home against Nebraska.
Yeah, Mike Riley has said that his team's upset after that overtime loss against Wisconsin and looking for a little payback and make an example, make a statement out of Ohio State. And listen, now that Jordan Westerkamp's back at wide receiver, full array of offensive weapons, it's going to be a good one.
11th play of the drive out of the timeout, 3rd and 4. And that same look with Westbrook. Mayfield not looking in that direction, at least not yet. Going to try to run. Mayfield looking for a block. He didn't get it, and he got stopped short. What a hit by Brian Peavy.
I think D.D. Westbrook made the wrong decision blocking for Baker Mayfield. You look at Mayfield getting up. He looks like he's a little bit wobbly on that hit, but D.D. Westbrook kind of peeled back trying to get a block for Baker Mayfield behind him. I think if D.D. Westbrook had just stayed downfield and blocked his guy, because it was ultimately the guy covering D.D. Westbrook that ended up making this play. Looked like Mayfield had everyone kind of run out. But it was the corner. That was a huge shot by Brian Peavy.
Man, there was also almost some helmet-to-helmet contact. Seibert, the field goal try. It is up, and that's a big one. He knocks it through to make it a 2-score game. So 34-24, 7:05 to go. They'll make sure that Baker Mayfield is okay because he got popped. Looking for a block. It didn't come. Big stand for Iowa State. They are still very much in this game, down 10 in the 4th quarter. Well, Oklahoma, the explosive offense at the end of the first half, they took a 28-17 lead into the locker room, scored the first 3 points of the second half. Since then, only one other field goal. This is a 10-point game about midway through the fourth quarter.
Defenses have played better here in the second half, no doubt. And I think after certainly that last drive by the Cyclones, they've got some juice on offense right now, playing with some confidence, with an opportunity to win the game.
They're going to bring it out on a kick return. Olangu, who's got that breakaway speed. A penalty flag is on the field. Olangu knocked out of bounds across midfield, but this one could be coming back. You almost always expect this is going to be against the return team.
Yeah, and it is. Going to get their wide receiver.
During the return of the kick, holding, receiving team, number 31, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Carson Epps, number 80, had a hold on that as well.
He has had a rough night. Carson Epps, a couple drops, and now that big penalty.
You see Nwangu in that speed you talked about. They're setting up the return to the left.
Yeah, he's got a hold of the jersey.
And a big explosive play, giving them great field position at a time where they need a big drive, and all for naught, but you're gonna have to do it the hard way now.
So instead of right around midfield, you start from the 20. In essence, that's a 30-yard penalty.
I like this from Iowa State. Lazard in the slot. We're asking for that earlier. We can do some damage in the middle of the field.
They motion to where Thomas is matched up against him. They will hand it off. And Olangu, that same speed we saw on the kick return. Trying to spin it outside. Gain of about 8.
Yeah, this is an offensive line that hasn't been very good all season long. They got 3 different walk-ons up front for the Cyclones. Coming into the year, only 6 combined starts, but you know the game's on them now. They've got to give Jacob Park time to throw, and they've got to open up some holes in this run game.
And they do have to play with a little bit of urgency. We're down to 6.5 to go, and you're down 2 scores. You have to play with some tempo. You don't have to rush, but you got to play with some tempo. Taking a lot of time before this second down play. All to hand it off. And a broken tackle. First down, Iowa State.
It's kind of the change-up that Nwangu gives you, right? That ability to kind of bounce the ball outside. Other runners are more between the tackle guys, and Nwangu now, he looks like he's kind of finding a little bit of confidence, really, in the most action we've seen him have at running back, and using that speed. It's a good weapon for this offense.
Some anxious moments for Mike Stoops and the Oklahoma defense. 1st and 10 Cyclones. They'll hand the ball off. This is the senior walk-on looking for a block, and he kind of snuck through and got a couple of yards. Mitchell Harger, State kid. A lot of walk-ons are contributing to this Iowa State team.
Yeah, they've got a bunch on them. There's no doubt about it. I think still, I'm going to be looking for another shot to Alan Lazard outside. You got to put him in the slot again. The 6'5" body. That's a mismatch opportunity for Jacob Park to take an advantage of downfield.
And they continue to take a lot of time. Now, this is a minute off the clock plus to get these last 10 yards or so. A shoulder fake and trying to go downfield. That one was knocked up in the air. It's going to land. And nobody's finally they say incomplete. Nobody blew the whistle.
Jacob Park has to get rid of this ball. He's just holding on to the football a little bit too long. They're trying to fake the wide receiver screen and try and get Carson Epps down the boundary. But a nice job on the pass rush move by Obo Okoronkwo. Their best pass rusher, leading the team with 7 sacks. And Park's just got to have a little bit more anticipation. That clock's got to go off in his head.
Yeah, that was not the blind side. That was a good pass rush. Okoronkwo is a very talented player. It's 3rd and 8. Play clock winding down. Iowa State got to get the ball snapped, and they do. Pressure picked up. Park throws, and it is way incomplete.
That's just an example, again, of just having to have better anticipation, right? We saw Baker Mayfield earlier in the game on an out-breaking route, kind of get it out early to the boundary, and sometimes young quarterbacks, they just want to see the throw open up. They want to see the receiver come out of his break, and that's something. I think Jacob Park is extremely talented. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback down the road, but things that he'll be working on as he continues.
Now this is interesting. I mean, you kind of have to do it, I guess, but going forward on 4th down, 5:08 to go, down 10 points with the play clock winding down. You got to make sure you at least get the play off. 4th and 8, and they do. Got to have this one for Iowa State. Park bought some time, and then he sailed the pass. He had his man open. Another incompletion. Oklahoma will take over. That was, I don't think that was the most difficult throw for Park.
I think Jacob Park knows it. I think he just got a little bit too excited on a big critical down. He's got a receiver open. Remember, he missed that wide open receiver against Kansas State in the end zone last week, down in the red zone. He'll learn from it.
A big hold for Oklahoma. They get the ball back. Don't miss SportsCenter at night. Stan and Neil standing by after we're done here in Ames. NFL highlights, NBA, NFL news. I'm sure they'll have some World Series wrap-up stuff as well. SportsCenter at night after our college football from Ames, Iowa. Also will stream live on Watch ESPN. Baker Mayfield and the Oklahoma offense back on the field, and you figure they will want to keep it on the ground. First down run. Flowers gets stopped. Clock is the Sooners' friend, leading by 10 with under 5 to go.
I think you got to kind of like your chances right now to sort of ice this with the physical back and Dimitri Flowers and the confidence he should have right now. He's had a nice day, about 80 yards rushing tonight. This offensive line has done a good job up front handling Iowa State. It really should be no mystery. Zone read type plays are alive too. Remember, don't discount Baker Mayfield's ability running the ball either, especially in this situation of the game.
Play clock winding down. He did take that big hit at the end of the last drive. Seems to be just fine. And they milked it all the way down to 2. Flowers, huge hole. First down and more. And I think smartly just kind of goes down. They want to keep that clock moving. Taking a big hit at the end of the play.
Just a hat on a hat. You've got your backup center in now, Jonathan Alvarez. Really no difference. There's been no drop off.
They have dominated time of possession here in the second half. Iowa State already not a real deep team in this roster. They've got some talent at the top end, some players who can hang in a very tough conference. They don't have a lot of depth. Guy knows he missed a few here tonight that might have made a difference. That was a penalty and some movement against Oklahoma. That is not supposed to happen when you're just trying to run the ball and kill clock.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Drew Samia, the right guard. He was pulling on the play just a little bit early. These are the mental errors they gotta lock in on. Critical time of the game, obviously trying to ice it.
They put this game away. Oklahoma stays undefeated in the Big 12, 6-0. They'll have their 18th straight win against Iowa State. The penalty does mean some extra time off the clock. Tackle behind the line of scrimmage against Flowers.
You know, the interesting thing to me too is Iowa State's not loading the box to stop the run. They're playing big zone coverage on the outside, trying to defend against the shot play, but it doesn't seem like Oklahoma is wanting to throw the football right now, certainly, and risk stopping the game clock.
If I were Matt Campbell after that last tackle, I would have used one of those last 2 timeouts. I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter when you say. You got to make sure you save all of those 40 seconds after a run play. A good time to do it anyway. 2nd and 16. Another handoff. Flowers around the corner, and that's that softer defense. Flowers got close to the first down. And now they will use one of their timeouts. 2:19 on the clock. And Iowa State knows any small chance in this game, and they got to stop right here on 3rd and short. You said it, Dimitri Flowers. It's been really impressive. This is a guy who had never had an official carry in his career before tonight.
And he's made plays in a lot of different ways tonight. Obviously, running between the tackles, you expected him to be okay at that. We've seen him line up in the Wildcat on critical 3rd and 4th downs as well. And then out of the backfield, downfield, and he did a little bit of that when he was playing his tight end kind of F-back role earlier in the season, but he's really shown a lot of versatility for a big 240-pound back. You see Pirine, they expect to get back for the Baylor game next. He's loving it. big question mark coming into this game. You know, running back for Oklahoma and how that would affect the productivity, how that would affect the passing game. And 105-yard rushing performance by Dimitri Flowers. The depth at running back, it's impressive with a lot of guys injured.
Yeah, you know, we kind of circled the freshman Abdul Adams. He's done some good things, but it's been the fullback who's been the primary ball carrier. A huge game for the junior from San Antonio.
Such a big part for Oklahoma moving forward is just going to be getting healthier. We talked about all the key injuries they've had on defense, especially on the defensive line. A little bit of cornerback as well, but on offense, you know, not just ball carriers and running backs, but difference makers. Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine, not a lot of teams in the country have a 1-2 punch that talented, and they're going to need him with the stretch they've got to play these final 3 regular season games. Got to be fully loaded.
Any chance for Iowa State? They got to stop him here on 3rd and 3. Flowers doesn't want to get stopped. He's not going to be stopped. First down, Oklahoma.
The impressive part is he looks like he's just gotten stronger as the game's gone. I think that's one of the ultimate compliments that you can pay a running back. Through all the carries and all the punishment, one guy, 2, 3, it takes a lot of bodies to get Flowers down. At the end of the day, you know, a win is a win is a win. And it was a bit of an uglier first half defensively, but to give them credit, they only allowed a touchdown in the second half. And they've put their 2 best defensive performances of the season now back to back. And I know Kansas and Iowa State, that's not the 1999 St. Louis Rams' greatest show on turf.
Flowers inside the 5.
You've got to be able to develop confidence, right? And again, you're going to face these high-octane offenses in Baylor, West Virginia, and Oklahoma State. You find these small victories, and for a team that I do believe Oklahoma, they've improved since week 3 of the season. You give Bob Stoops and this team credit because a lot of teams could have just shut it down after the 1-2 start. They were able to sort of refocus. They've got the eyes on the prize. They're 6-0 in conference play. The 3 biggest games of the year left ahead of them.
They are not going to try to punch it in. Oklahoma with a minute to go. They can end this game just by taking a knee, and that's what they're going to do. Assume Iowa State doesn't take that timeout. And they have not. So the clock winds. Those 3 games Jesse's talking about. Baylor up next. You get a few extra days because you play on Thursday night. That's a positive. You play at home. Then you go to Morgantown before the extra week of prep for Oklahoma State.
Which is big. I really think that Oklahoma State game, that could be the one. That could be kind of a de facto Big 12 title game.
And I know Oklahoma fans have been unhappy with the way a lot of this season has gone. They still have a chance. If they can run the table in those 3, they have a chance to be a playoff team. They do.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They do. And I think they can make the argument they've had the toughest non-conference schedule in the country. And if they go 9-0 in Big 12 play, you don't need to play the 13th conference title game because you've already beat everybody. But take one at a time. It'll be fun to watch down the stretch. This Big 12, lots of big conference games remain.
34-24 final score. Oklahoma wins for Jesse Palmer and Laura Rutledge. Dave Fleming saying so long. Sports Center up next.
Oh, how's it? The Big 12 looks like it's going to get shut out of the college football playoff Final Four. Oklahoma, its best chance, but no chance if the Sooners didn't handle their business right there.
Yeah, the Sooners got beat twice in non-conference games, but so far they've been perfect in the Big 12, and they hadn't lost at Iowa State since 1990, a streak that they continued tonight. 34-24, got hairy there for a minute when Iowa State cut it to a 7-point game, but Baker Mayfield, another outstanding performance, 25 of 34, 328 yards and 4 touchdowns. Didn't have their top 2 backs, Joe Mixon, who's suspended, and Samaje Perine, who's injured, but you see Flowers, 22 carries, 115 yards, and a touchdown as Oklahoma
was favored by 3 touchdowns.
Totally dominates the time of possession.
Yeah. Just somebody told me that on the bus on the way to work.
That what?
That they were favored by 3 touchdowns.
Right, sure.
I didn't even know quite what they meant. But.
Sure they were. Here's Mayfield here with a pass to Jeffrey Mead. Mead breaks the initial tackle, then spins away for 2 more tackles for the touchdown. Great moves to get there. And check out Mayfield's reaction. Oh, yeah, Oklahoma up 14-3. D.D. Westbrook, he's been fantastic last 5 games, 881 yards, 11 touchdowns, only had 154 yards and no touchdowns in his first 3 games. Second quarter, Oklahoma trailing 17-14. Check out Westbrook. Makes a great move on the defender to get some separation. Outside to inside, 65-yard touchdown, Oklahoma up 21-17 at that point. And the Sooners going to win it, as we showed you, 34-24. So now they are 6-0 in the Big 12. Again, those 2 blemishes early in the season came before they really got their offense on track. But their offense has been fantastic last several games, and Mayfield's been leading the way. 34-24 Sooners over the Cyclones. Mayfield 328 yards and the 4 touchdowns. We're hoping to talk to Mayfield coming up here on SportsCenter in just a couple minutes.
What about Jesse? Are we getting Jesse too?
We may.
Because the ladies love it when we say we got Jesse Palmer coming.
Instant female rating spike.
There you go.
Jesse
Hello.
Palmer.
Have you ever been to Iowa State?
No, never been to Iowa State.
I never have either.
No, I figure Heisman House maybe it'd take.
Yeah, I know. You know, we're going to be at LSU, Alabama, amongst your people down there.
Advantage you. So are you staying for the game? Just doing the
no, I'm staying for the game, man. It's a night game. You know, I'll be able to keep it together. Well, should we talk? Should we talk about the war? So we're watching.
Okay.
We're watching. Oh wait, here comes Mayfield. He looks like a dude. I like him.
Baker.
How's it going?
Neil says you look like a dude. What's your reaction to that?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
There you go.
Hey, man, you're really a dude out there for your team tonight. 4 touchdown passes, another 300-yard game. What was working for you so well tonight?
I mean, guys got open for me, made big plays when I got the ball in their hands. Had some great runs after the catch, really. I mean, offensively, we didn't play great. Didn't score as many points as we wanted to, didn't execute as well as we wanted to, but we made the plays when it counted.
You didn't have your top 2 rushers tonight. You knew you wouldn't have them, and I would assume that the passing game was taking on more of a prominent role tonight. How does that change how you went into this game without Pirine and without Mixon?
It was kind of a next man up mentality. We didn't try and think of it that way. We knew we had Dimitri Flowers, who stepped up in a big way. He was able to play running back when normally he's kind of our tight end fullback, kind of our athlete guy, but we used him at tailback tonight, and he did a great job. So it was good to see all of our guys step up and just kind of have that next man up mentality.
You guys came in, of course, with national title aspirations. You had those 2 early stumbles. How did you guys stay focused to get to the point where you are now on top of the Big 12?
We thought about it. I mean, it wasn't like we played 2 bad teams. I mean, those are 2 great teams that are playing well. And so we realized we hadn't played a conference game yet. And so it was about focusing on the conference title, 1 game at a time. And if we just focus on that, we can get to where we want to in the end.
D.D. Westbrook has been fantastic. You guys have a chemistry that's probably the best quarterback-receiver duo in the country right now. How's that developed as the season went along?
It's been fantastic. I mean, he's got such unique speed that I've been able to utilize it, and he's just gotten open. He's made my job easy. Had 1 post ball tonight that I underthrew him. I mean, you can't really outthrow the kid. He's so fast. So he's just doing a great job for me.
You guys got some big games coming up. Really, the meteor conference schedule coming up. What's the focus as you get into that?
Same mindset. 1 week at a time. Got to focus on that next opponent to get to the next one. So obviously our goal right now is Big 12 title, and got 3 games left, and you got to focus on 1 week at a time.
All right, Baker Mayfield and the Sooners winners tonight at Iowa State. Baker, thanks for the time.
Thank you.